I mean, I don't know where all you would want me to be throwing this, but... Oh, I need to wait for you to actually appear online.
Hello? Yeah, it's working. Okay, there we go. Just had to fix my audio. It's the beginning of a new stream. Okay, good. You can hear things now. How does it all sound? How's the music? How's the things? Music could be louder. I'll turn it up.
Okay, volume boosted. I think all the ones I want to volume boost.
How's that? Daily sounds like a robot. What do you mean she sounds like a robot? She shouldn't.
Wait, I sound like a robot? Do I sound like a robot in Discord or just in stream?
Try. How about now?
In stream.
But Discord, yeah. That's weird.
I'm gonna keep fiddling with it until Helly gives me an answer. You guys should talk so that Helly can hear you and we can figure it out.
Okay. I'm also going to see if I can just restart voice mod. Maybe that's just the issue. No, remember. One second.
It's not on your end. It's on my end. Speak, Daily. Okay, Dan, say something.
What's up, my homie?
Okay, so did you hear Dan, Ellie? He's gonna be in chat, not in voice, by the way. Just letting you know. Tiny but understandable. Okay. Let me boost it real quick.
Tinny is the word you're looking for.
Oh, tinny? Kind of like there's a lot of bass.
Which is a little weird, but...
Yeah, I got a very bassy voice, you know.
How's this? Try it again. Someone speak.
Which is exactly why I call... I mean, it's exactly why I call Wolf a, higher-pitched thing. Well, she's not. I got higher-pitched. She just has less bass in you.
I'm all about that bass. No treble. How's that, Helly?
We're all about the droids, not the droids.
I mean,
no
that
organics.
they're going to...
All
I need
about
to
the
turn...
droids, not the droids. No organics.
Try and hear what Josh was trying to say.
I need to turn my audio. I mean, there's only so much I can do about the echo because I don't have headphones. So there's going to be some echo. Look, I haven't had the extra money to do headphones lately. It was the next thing on my list, but it's also not a major priority. Anyways, I think sound checks are good.
I was about to say, headphones are like $100 for good.
Oh, you should probably just turn me down then. If I'm better louder than everyone else, and adjust my volume on Discord.
The problem with you is you fluctuate from being really, really quiet to being really, really loud.
Why? Literally nothing about the way I process my voice change.
I think it's about how close you get to your microphone, because when you lean away, it's impossible to hear you.
Should I?
Are you saying I should bring my microphone close and talk sensually?
Good God, that was loud. I mean, yeah, sure, give the people what they want. Someone throw some bits up in the chat to toss some money on her.
Hey, X, what percentage do you have daily at?
I have her... Okay, usually I have to have her up at like 110. But I got her down at 90 now.
She's at like 68. So close.
Okay.
My problem is that sometimes she's quiet and sometimes she's not.
Just one more bit, Dan. Turn it down just one more.
Please. Stop. Please, get some help.
It's at 69 now.
Beautiful.
Stop. Get some help. So, after listening to myself also for a second on the stream, I am also rather loud comparative to Dan and yourself. So you may want to lower Discord as its entirety and try to boost Dan.
I cannot boost Dan anymore. He's at 200%. So I'm going to lower you a little bit.
The fuck you want?
Lower Daily a little bit more.
My mic up?
And leave Gray where she is because she's the hardest person to hear in the planet.
Oh no, my input. Wait.
They are kind of a fight.
There, sorry, they, I apologize, Gray.
It's fine.
We
Not
are
one to correct people.
we want to be inclusive, and we want to make sure you are being gendered correctly.
Also, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. Never mind.
You should be expecting that from people. That's like the bare minimum.
Yeah, well, I was with people who didn't do the bare minimum, so okay.
Yeah, Daily, stop beating up on your friend.
They're not my friend, they're my... Well, I guess they are my
Wow. Wow.
They are not just friends, they are family. That's what I'm going for.
Wow. Why would you say something so true yet controversial?
They are closer than
I don't know. I get a lot closer with friends than I ever would with family. That's what the benefits are for. I mean, wait, we're live. Hi. Hi. Hello to the one or two people that may or may not be here. I guess I should, you know, kind of do a introduction to what this is. This is essentially a Star Wars campaign with a party of all droids with the goal of just really fucking shit up in the lore. Like, just having a lot of fun and making a mess of the lore, you know? So, I set this during the same time period as the X-Wing novels, which is kind of like 8 BBY, 7 BBY. This is when the New Republic is starting to gain traction. This is when, if any of you don't know any of this about Star Wars, then just follow along. You'll get the hang of it eventually. Essentially, there's a bunch of warlords and stuff, but that's not really important to the campaign, other than it being kind of dressing on the cake, you know, scene setting and stuff. There's a bunch of Spotify playback paused. What?
You just said fuck this shit up.
Spotify, why? Why did you pause? How do I disable that? Whatever. Anyways, where was I? Heads lost. You know what? I'll just read it. I'm going to read the scene dressing first, and then we'll get into the campaign. All of us are really new. This is my first time running a campaign in this system. I have played a game in this system, a singular game, like a single session in this system. It was a lot of fun. I've watched a bunch of people play it, and we're going to do our best. So if any of our rolls are wrong or any of our nonsense is extra nonsensical, just don't get at us. Just have some fun. This is all about fucking around and finding out. We're going to tell a story here, enjoy our time, and hopefully, probably, maybe, probably not, going to make it to some conclusion at some point. It's not really meant to be like a long-term, like a long-form story, so much as a bunch of littler stuff, but there's also going to be some story element possibilities. We've kind of had a couple different ideas. We'll see where it goes. So, time to read the flavor text. I'm going to pause the music for this. The year is 7 ABY. That's after the Battle of Yavin for you normies. And the Empire is being punched in the nose repeatedly by an increasingly strong New Republic. They grow closer and closer to Coruscant and capturing this vital planet every single week. But even with the New Republic holding the neighboring sectors, all is quiet in the Quayle sector. An Imperial warlord known as Zinj has locked this section of the galaxy down. Zinj rules his miniature empire from a throne in the Sereno sector. When he's not on his throne, he is on the command bridge of his personal executor-class Super Star Destroyer, the Iron Fist. Or as I like to call it, the Super Compensator, the Iron Fist. Supporting this dreadnought is an Armani Armada, they got that Gucci shit, of Imperial-class Victory Star Destroyers. Every system within his control feels the weight of his military. TIE fighters patrol every star system, and even backwater worlds have small outposts. Near the tail of the sector, we find a small, out-of-the-way system called Denova. The mining corporation of the CSA holds most of the stakes to be claimed in this system, and they stick to the second planet from the sun. Denova Prime. They mostly stick to the second planet in the system known as Denova Prime. Several mining outposts exist on the planet, with cities and spaceports built around them to support it. Bulk freight cruisers haul ore from the planet's surface, then return with commercial industrial imports on a weekly basis. Orbiting the fourth and furthest planet of the system is a massive debris field from a long-forgotten battle of the since-distant Clone Wars. For decades, this debris field has lain dormant, the hulls of several capital-class ships drifting in a slow, silent ballet. Amongst the wreckage is a damaged Sheathipede shuttle, also known as a separatist shuttle, with a small crew of disabled droids. Deployed to the region to act as boarding saboteurs and protect the now decimated fleet. Then a comet enters the system on a ceaseless journey through space. It passes close to the fourth planet and is pulled into the debris field. It impacts the underside of a munificent-class cruiser. Several fuel cells on the cruiser detonate with a low impact and blow the ship in half. In this chain reaction, the ship's aft power cell array ruptures and begins throwing massive arcs of electricity crackling through the scrap. Bouncing from object to object, a bolt of electricity the size of a shuttle port passes through the small craft. Perhaps it is luck. Perhaps it's the will of some greater cosmic force, if you believe in that sort of thing. Whatever the case, the bolt of energy does not destroy the vessel. Instead, it leaves behind a charge. And the droids on board enter their first boot cycle in 26 years. As you all boot, you find that your memory cores are fragmented. And your coolant systems are having a hard time keeping up with the increased heat from previously fried electronic circuit boards. You slowly come to awake to full awareness, floating in this zero gravity space inside of this small shuttle. The first person to wake up is going to be I'm gonna roll for this. Give me that D4. I said where is my D4?
Yo,
Number 3, Number 3.
First person to wake up is going to be Reggie.
about to say, I swear it's me.
So, Reggie.
Why have to be me?
I'm sorry, but you're the first person to wake up. The next person to wake up will be coming soon. But Reggie, as you wake up, you feel the coolant shifting, moving through your systems as your different sensors and diagnostics start to flicker in red. There's lots of you sustain some significant damage to different electronic systems, but as a whole, mechanically, you seem to be intact. Your memory's a bit scrambled. You can't quite remember how you ended up in this shuttle. You remember there was some sort of battle. You kind of have flashes in your memory of unfragmented video of flying through space and then getting hit by something really bright impacting the ship and just frying it. All of you were connected into the ship as part of your piloting and stuff, and so we're all in a way also drained of power. You must have been hit by some sort of extremely powerful ion cannon. As you wake up, you kind of look around and you notice that as you look out the viewport, there's this huge debris field spanning kilometers, and a large Providence-class cruiser is just floating, slowly turning directly ahead of your small ship. At this point, I'm going to have Heli, Bait, or Babe, as it says on the sheets. Babe.
You're still asleep.
BX83. You wake up and seem to have sustained some sort of memory failure. You don't remember exactly what has happened. You know that you can tell that you're floating in zero gravity. You can tell that there is something wrong with your memory a little bit, and you're pretty sure you're upside down right now. Next would be Daily, as I continue to scroll up to look at everybody, which is Rebel. Rebel, you are hit the hardest out of anyone in this party because electronics is kind of your specialty. You can sense that you hear your diagnostics give off warning signs as it starts to evaluate your slicer gear and your comlink. And even worse than that is it seems that in the impact of whatever hit you, you seem to have been thrown up against a wall, bounced off, and damaged your fusion cutter as you look down at it. I am going to reduce the damage one level step, just because I think you're going to need a fusion cutter at some point soon. So it's no longer major damage, I'm going to make it moderate. Still is one difficulty to use it, though. And with that, the last person to wake up is Rolly. Rolly, you don't really have internal diagnostics. You just feel a little bit cranky when you wake up. You're not sure what it is. You try to boot up your mine detector as part of your boot cycle, and it seems to take a few tries to boot up. But other than that, you seem to feel all right. A little bit weird. But everyone has finished their boot cycle and is starting to wake up and look around as you find yourselves in zero gravity inside a small shuttle. What would you like to do?
I'm going to attempt to activate mag boost to stop floating.
Okay. You You initiate your mag boots, and one of them comes on at full power. The other one comes on at minimum power, and so it actually kind of spins you around a little bit as you impact one of the bulkheads, one of the walls of the ship. But you do catch yourself, and you are now attached to one of the walls of the ship. You could kind of figure out something with your boots, or try to walk your way over.
I'll try to figure out what's going on with my boots.
Okay, so that is going to be a mechanics check. While I load this up, I'll help you build the check.
Hey,
I said I was going to load this up.
Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably also be recording this. Let me hit that. There we go. We're now recording and loading. I'll just
Oh my gosh.
read it off again.
People feel like sending like 30 fucking messages all separated.
Yeah, that's about right.
Man, I couldn't think of anybody who does that.
I've never once done that every other day. Wow, my internet's acting up. Okay. So this is going to be a computers check. Actually, a mechanics check in this case, or computers check, either one. And it is going to be a medium difficulty, so 2 difficulty dice. So you build your dice for your character, for your character's check, and then you add in 2 difficulty dice, and I'm going to give you a single setback because it is 0G and you don't have any tools to really figure this out.
Okay, so according to my sheet, I get, for a mechanics check, I get 3 green dice. So then I also add in the 2 difficulty and the 1 setback, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright, time to roll these dice.
Wow. 2 successes and 2 advantages, my dude.
Let's go!
Is there anything you would like to do with those advantages?
What can I do with those advantages?
Let me look it up again. I forgot.
Because I can use... I have things that they go about and reduce setbacks in certain cases, but that's not... that's not going to benefit me here.
Let's see. You can recover a strain, but you don't have any system strain right now because you're waking up without strain. Because you've been offline for long enough. I'm not going to worry about your strain. Activate a limit. You can add a boost to any allied character's next check, or your own next check. So in other words, you can add a boost to the next check with 2 advantages, or you can add a boost for each of them, I think.
You know what? I will give...
Or you
I will
can...
give an advantage to each of the R units.
You could also notice a single important point in the ongoing conflict. In other words, you can notice one thing of importance that I will give you if you choose.
You know what? Let's take the thing of importance.
Okay. As you connect to the bulkhead and look around, you kind of like tap on your boot, and as you're tapping on it, you notice a single small circuit board floating in front of your face that is, as far as you can tell, the backup main circuit board for the hyperdrive of the vessel. And it's got a lot of carbon scoring on it. It looks like it got deep fried. Someone stuck it in a deep fryer, and it's just floating past your eye from in the crew compartment.
Can I grab it?
Sure. You just reach out and you grab it real quick. It's not floating very fast. You're able to easily grab it. As you kind of look at it, yeah, it's deep fried. Even without a check, you can tell that this circuit board is basically useless. It looks like someone put a blaster bolt in it. So,
you know what? I will. So with knocking on my boot, are both of my boots working properly?
Yes, both of your boots work just fine now. In fact, you managed to knock, the way you knocked on it, it re-engaged something. You're pretty sure it's going to be fine for the rest of the time.
Hey, I'm going to take this over to... which one of these two R3 units is our main technician?
Reggie.
I'm going to take this chip over to Reggie.
You walk over to Reggie, who is currently still floating, kind of like slowly turning as you see different diagnostic lights on the outside of Reggie start to light up.
Okay, I'm going to grab Reggie and try to sit them on the ground. just stop floating, sit down.
They're just floating.
Reggie, would you like to engage your maglocks?
Maybe. Yes.
Okay. You activate your maglocks, and two of your three maglocks engage. I don't know if you're extending your little foot yet, but two of your main maglocks engage, and you are firmly connected to the base plate of the ship now.
Woo.
I'm going to show Reggie the deep-fried hyperdrive chip. Looks like, this is broken.
I see.
No, please, can you specify, are you talking in binary or are you talking in basic?
None of you are talking in basic. I assume all of you are talking in binary. Also, I would like to specify there is still atmosphere in this ship, so you can still speak freely without trying to use your comm links.
Can you speak out loud in binary?
Yeah? What do you think R2 speaks in?
That is the beeps.
Although I would say that most of R2's dialogue is swear words, so...
Like a sailor.
So then we get out.
So... Would anybody else like to do something?
I would like to also activate my mag. What's it called?
Mag boots.
Your maglocks.
Mag boots. Maglocks.
Okay.
Maglocks.
You activate your maglocks and end up quote-unquote falling, or more accurately being pulled towards the ceiling of the craft. As you were upside down at the time. You lock onto the ceiling. Your maglocks work just fine. Gesundheit.
Was so
I want to now drive along the ceiling towards where they are. Are they on the ceiling or are they on the floor?
They're on the floor.
Can I go down the wall of the ship to the floor?
There's a few places you could go down the wall.
quick question. Where are we rolling?
What's that, Helly? I mean, Dan?
Thank you. I'm Helly now. Where are we making rolls?
I will.
In
I will.
the app RPG sessions.
Yes.
Oh, found it. Okay.
May also have a pull up your character sheet in another window as well. So things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dan, you don't have any. Your maglocks. If you try to activate them, which I'm going to just say right now, you do get a warning on your diagnostics. Your maglocks are not activatable.
Alright.
They failed to activate.
I'm just gonna roll into a ball and float.
you were curled up to begin with, and now you just kind of like curl up a little bit tighter,
Yeah,
and now
I'm
you're
like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this.
Do I
I'm going back.
do I have any sort of extension on me that I could use to then point. Do I have a laser pointer? Can I laser point at...
I mean, most R units have like a little suction cup thing they can shoot out a couple inches to grab onto stuff. They got little grabby hands.
I want to point.
I mean, you've got your scalp link.
Yeah. You also have a projector. You can project images, so you can just project an arrow pointing at something if you want.
That's what I want to do. I want to point it at Rolly, and then I'm going to be like, what's his problem?
No problem. Just fuck this shit. I am for battle. I do not see battle.
If you look out the viewport.
That is none of my concern. They are not in front of me.
I have also noticed at the viewport. I would like to look at the viewport.
Can I spin Rolly in air so he is facing the viewport?
Yeah, sure. It's not even that hard because he's zero gravity and you are attached to the ship.
Exactly. There you go. It is now in front of you.
Thank you.
And damn, that must have been a hell of a battle. Because there's a lot, like you as a guy who loves himself a fight, that looks like a hell of a fight. There is still parts of one of the cruisers that you're pretty sure is glowing from the heat from the battle. And I'm actually going to have you roll a warfare check. It's a knowledge skill. And it's going to be a difficulty 2 warfare check. So it's going to be, I don't know what your stats are.
I don't know how to...
So if you're on the table, you can click on your name in the sidebar, click on your middle bar, and we'll pull up your character sheet.
Warfare with 2 difficulty. I'll give you a boost because this is kind of your shtick.
A warfare?
Yes.
Like that?
No, so warfare, and then you add 2 difficulty dice, which are the purple ones. It's okay, I'm walking you through. And then add a boost, which is a blue dice. So click on the dice in the menu.
Like that.
Yes, there you go. So you got a threat. That's fun. It's really fun. Let me look at what. You didn't succeed. That's for sure. And with a threat, yeah, you don't notice any. That just looked like a hell of a fight, and your visual processor's kind of fritzing out a little bit as you look at it. You're not sure what's going on with that, but you kind of like wiggle your eye a little bit, and it clicks and it stops frizzing up. But that's about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a hell of a fight. There's holes in the ship. Someone shot it real good.
Oh yeah. Shit's fucked.
Shit's fucked. Yeah, bro, shit's fucked, man. What do I say? Shit's fucked.
I'm going to sit down in the pilot chair and see if I can get any diagnostics from the ship.
Okay, I'm gonna start you off with a piloting check just to see piloting space, just to see if you can, just to see if you're able to boot the system up and just kind of like, come on, baby, wake up.
Okay, so I have my dice. Am I getting any? What difficulty am I getting?
This is going to be a difficulty 1, but there are going to be a couple of setbacks on there. Put 2 setbacks on there.
Okay. Well, I am going to use my passive skill to remove 1 setback from any piloting planetary and space checks.
Hell yeah.
Because fuck your setbacks. Actually, I need to check something real quick. Okay, I did not get the second one of that. I only have the one. Okay, roll them dice. 2 successes and 2 threats.
Well, the good news is the ship does activate. The bad news is that once the ship activates, the hyperdrive short circuits even further, and there is now you hear behind you a screeching noise, and then a pop, and then a small fireball blasts out of a hole in the inside of the ship, and on the interior of the ship where the hyperdrive is off, and another panel is just blasted out. If you look back there, your hyperdrive is beyond fucked now.
Wonderful.
You also, at this point, you hear the engines start to come on, but that ship's going to take some system strain. So I'm going to put some system strain on the ship real quick for y'all.
All right, I'm going to attempt to turn off the ship.
Okay, you click the ship, you turn the ship back off, and it just kind of like shudders as it depowers.
Good news, the ship does still run, though we got some maintenance that needs to be done.
What do I need to do?
Well, let's get you started to see what you need to do. That's going to be a mechanics check. Just a mechanics check with, at this point, 3 difficulty to see what's wrong with the hyperdrive.
So,
Wait, remember, I also gave her that fried hyperdrive chip.
You did give her the fried hyperdrive chip, so I will give you a boost on this check.
Let's go!
So, select your character. Under in the green box, it's where it says character. Click on that. Scroll down until you find engineering. Not engineering. What's it called? Mechanics. Sorry. And then you're gonna click on the purple dice 3 times for 3 difficulty. And I would give you, I'm giving you setback, but I know your wrench removes that setback, so you don't have any setback. Also add a blue dice and then roll it.
okay, so mechanics. What else did I need to add? I lost.
Okay, so it's going to be mechanics,
Okay.
and then you add 3 purple dice,
3.
and then 1 blue dice, which is a boost.
Okay.
And then you should be able to roll it. 2 successes, 3 advantages. Well then.
Let's go!
Damn!
Yeah, you can, so for this you could, you take one look at this, and you don't even have to do like any sort of scanning anything. Just visually, you look at it and you go, okay, the only way we can do this is to get a new hyperdrive. But luckily,
Shit is fucked.
luckily, as you look at it, all of the mounts for the hyperdrive are undamaged, which means it will be very easy to remove this hyperdrive and put a new one in. It's just a matter of finding a new hyperdrive. Because this hyperdrive, there are several sections of it that have literally melted together. And in one area, it's still dripping coolant. Well, it's not dripping coolant. It's more like a gentle spurt that pushes outwards every so often and starts to float across the cabin. Just to give you an idea of where this is in the inside of the ship, it is the roof of the inside of the ship, near the back of the ship. And there's just several access panels that have been blasted off at this point and are floating loosely in the cargo area of the ship, and there is there's just in there you can see the hyperdrive components, and there are several of them that are just melted. It's literally worse than worthless. But you have all the tools you need, and you would be able to. In fact, if you want, you can remove it right now as we're talking. It'll take you about 30 minutes to remove on your own, but it shouldn't. It's not even going to be a check at this point.
I would like to try to remove the broken hyperdrive.
Okay.
What if I try to help her?
It will reduce the amount of time it takes, so it'll take about 15 minutes for the two of you to pull the hyperdrive out. Because at this point, you're not really trying to pull it out carefully like you would if you were doing a standard removal. You're just basically unbolting it and yanking this boy out.
Get this shit out of here.
Okay. You guys spend, I assume, so while these two are currently like pulling the hyperdrive out for the next 15 minutes, Babe, what would you be, Babe and Rolly, what are you guys doing?
I'm floating next to the window.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pretty much all I can really do.
Rolly can't do much, given that he has malfunctioning neck locks.
Yeah, that's true. I think you could have somebody look at your maglocks to fix them, or you could try looking at them to see if you can fix them, like Helly did. If you would like. Just to allow you to walk around.
Or in your case, roll.
What? I mean, I can walk.
Yeah.
Oh.
You probably a mechanics check just like mine was.
Yeah, and if someone's helping you, you can use their mechanics modifier instead of yours.
Just a regular mechanics check?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I'll help.
so it's a mechanics check. It's a mechanics check with sorry, I have to always give you the difficulty, and I'm still getting used to it. Mechanics check with 2 difficulty and a setback. But if Helly is helping you, Helly, what's your mechanics at?
I have 3 green, but no yellow.
Okay, so you can add 2 more greens to. You can basically use Helly's mechanics check instead if you want, and you're just assisting him. Does that sound good?
So 3 green.
3 greens, 3 greens, a blue because you're helping him, 2 purples because it's a medium difficulty, and I would say get a setback for simply the fact that you're 0G.
Being in space.
And you got a flat success. Look at all those threat you managed to survive. Holy cow! If that's 3 threat but 3 advantages, all cancels out. You got 1 success. That's good enough. As Helly starts to kind of looks at your boots and stuff, knocks on one of them, and then he notices that one of the cables came unplugged that is connected to the magbook section, and he just plugs it right in.
Nice.
And now you have a magnetized shell. For you, it's a magnetized shell. You can still roll as you normally do, which is your sprint. With the magnetization, it's just a little bit wonky because you still have to be attached to a metal surface the entire time.
Is there any setbacks or anything, or is it perfectly repaired?
It's just normal movement. It allows normal movement in 0 gravity while attached to a ship's hull or other metal catwalk.
Okay, got it.
It is a feature that was built into you with your inherent mission in mind.
No.
So, as you activate your mag locks, you kind of center in the ship a little bit, and then as you redirect it, you're able to pull yourself down to the floor, and you are now attached to the floor with your mag lock.
I'm gonna immediately start walking up a wall.
Just unfolds and starts using his little legs to walk up a wall.
Yep. You gave me these mag boots. I will be chaos incarnate with them.
I was saying, I would like to turn around, turn my head, my dome around, and then again project an arrow at him and be like, seriously, what the fuck is up with this dude?
Don't question the Roly boy.
Oh, is that what you like to be called? Rolly?
My name is Roly, yes.
Ready? Well, cool.
You guys do remember each other's designations. Maybe not your nicknames, but you're definitely your designations. Luckily. So, at about this point, after you guys fiddle with his mag boots and Reggie and Rebel work together really quickly to pull this hyperdrive out, they basically drop a transmission in 30 minutes. That's the equivalent of this. Pull it out. It's nice. It's definitely, like, as you pull it out, parts that are not supposed to come apart are just falling apart, and pieces that are not supposed to be welded together are welded together. It's ruined. It is foobar beyond all belief, and as you're doing so, you also notice that, Helly, you notice that there is not a lot of fuel in the tank.
Is there a chance to, like, salvage any of the metal from this hyperdrive?
There is no metal of value on this hyperdrive.
Aw.
It's
Remember, we're in a scrapyard right now.
Yeah.
There is plenty of metal.
there
True.
for the value that you would get out of it, it would cost you more in time and money to melt it down than it would be to actually just throw it away. It is completely destroyed and does not have a scrap value, unfortunately. But now that the hyperdrive is disconnected, Reggie, you're fairly certain that the ship will turn on without having the same issues as before. The engines may still be a little fritzy, but you can't really examine those from inside.
Well, I'm going to go grab some rope from storage because I have a whole bunch of rope,
Yep.
and pry open the Chief OP door and just walk out onto the roof and do some scouting.
So, it is a vacuum sealed and magnetic locked door because that's how you do it in order to keep it closed. You can definitely
The ship is turned off.
Yeah, it is turned off, so you can't open it necessarily. But so magnetic sealing is more of a polarization thing where it switches the polarization and it takes energy to swap the polarization, but once it's swapped, even a deactivated ship will still have magnetically sealed doors.
I thought it was electromagnet based, where being on powered the magnet, which caused the doors to lock.
Yeah. It's actually the inverse. It's for emergency situations where you lose atmosphere and you want the atmosphere to stay in. In other words, when you lose power, you don't want to lose atmosphere too.
Well, time to turn the ship back on so I can go walk onto the roof of the ship.
Okay, you put the ship on low power mode. This time you don't initiate the engines or fire up the engines, but the main core is running, and you notice as you do so that you're very, very low on fuel. You're fairly certain you are low enough on fuel that you can't leave the wreckage field. You're gonna have to find fuel before you try to leave this wreckage field because you're definitely not gonna make it to the next planet over in the system. It is very low. You must have a fuel leak somewhere that is causing this, and it's been leaking for 26 years. As you notice on the layout, that yes, it has been 26 years since the last boot cycle on this vehicle.
Okay. R3, you look for any fuel leaks. I'm going to go scout for some fuel.
Wait, which one are you talking to?
Both of you get to work.
Both of you get to work.
And then I'm gonna roll off to do exactly what it is.
swears in binary and then goes about their work.
Exactly.
I'm gonna wander out the door that he just went out.
Okay, so Helly, you initiate the you depressurize the interior of the vessel, which works. Luckily, the atmosphere generator does still work, so you're not going to blast everyone out into space. And the door opens without a problem. It swings downwards into a ramp position, and you even hear the landing gear open up outside through the hull. But at this point, it is now incredibly quiet, and you guys can no longer speak through voice. So you are now going to have to use your comm links if you want, and you're going to have to try and activate them.
Insist, no one can hear you.
Yeah. So
I'm going to attempt to just walk onto the roof of the shuttle.
okay. That's not too hard. As
Boots help.
As the door opens, you are temporarily greeted by the sight of what looks to be an ARC 170 scout roll fighter that is sitting right behind you. But after a moment of, oh shit, I'm about to get blown up, nothing happens, and you realize that the cockpit, as it rotates, there is nothing in the cockpit, and in fact, it is just a mass of molten metal that has been blasted apart. It's missing several pieces of the canopy, and there are no bodies inside. This ship is disabled and dead. But it's there. You walk around and kind of like managing to keep, you tie the rope off onto a handrail inside and tie another end off onto you and just start trying to climb your way around. This is going to be even with mag boots, this is going to be a little bit finicky because you're trying to walk around some weird positions. So I'm going to say make this an athletics check to see if you're able to manage to get around without slipping off and flying into the void.
And what difficulty?
This is going to be a difficulty, I would say a difficulty 2. This is most of this is average checks. So I'll give you a difficulty 2.
Any setback or boost?
No setbacks. I would say you get a boost for having mag boots.
Okay, let's roll those dice. No.
Nothing. At least you didn't get any threats. So you're kind of like you get about halfway around the door when you lose grip and then you just start to float away.
That's when I realized that I'm missing an arm.
Yep. Your left arm, to be more precise.
Wait, you're missing an arm?
Yes.
Gee, we can build him a new arm.
Whoa, you guys I got an arm.
Righteous.
Your digital shopping list.
Yeah, add it to the list. It'll be useful later. So, Rolly, you said you want to just roll out the door after him? Rolly?
Oh, sorry. I was messaging somebody.
We have 3 different R names.
Yeah.
It is kind of...
Rolly, Rebel, Reggie.
I just wanted to walk right out the door and just sit, right outside the door.
Okay. You post up on the landing... Yeah, you post up on the landing ramp and kind of survey the scene, and yeah, shit went down. You're starting to remember pieces of this fight. You remember at one point that you guys were deployed as an attempt to go board and sabotage an enemy vessel. As you kind of look around, you notice that, you guys gave them a run for their money. Too bad you seem to have lost. Or maybe you won? As you look around, there's just as many enemy ships destroyed here as there are allies, and it doesn't seem like anyone's been salvaging this wreckage.
Nobody knows.
So, Helly, I assume you're going to pull yourself back in through the rope and...
I'll pull back in just by my rope and stand on the landing platform And then I'm gonna just pull out my binocs.
Okay. What are you looking for with your binocs?
Any ships that look not damaged enough to the point of possibly having fuel.
As you're pulling out the binocs, you kind of look over at the Providence. It looks like it's heavily damaged, but it's probably still got fuel stores inside. It doesn't look like it has any major structural damage. It's just mostly disabling shots. In fact, there's several weapon systems that appear to be perfectly undamaged from the outside as far as you can see. You scroll in on some of them with your binoculars and look, and there's carbon scoring all across the outside of the ship, but nothing to indicate that it's been losing fuel or that there's been any major fires on the vessel as you kind of move across. And in fact, as you look at the vessel, you notice that the containment field for the hangar is still online. There's still power on the ship somehow. At the very least, emergency reserve power is still active on the vessel.
Alright, well, it looks like I found our destination.
No one can hear you.
Oh, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. So, Rebel and Reggie, what are you two doing?
I was going to check to see if there's any fuel leaks.
Okay. Reggie, do you want to help?
Taking out the... We did, never mind. Hold on.
Yes, you guys have pulled the hyperdrive at this point, and if you guys want to look for leaks, that's going to be another mechanics check. This one will be 2 difficulty. It will be 2 difficulty. I'm going to give you 3 setback.
Okay,
Remember to
so
look
I
over
guess
your
we'll go
tools to
independently.
see if you can reduce setback and stuff like that.
Okay, so we're independently looking for these, right?
If you would like, you can do it independently or together, either way.
And imagine we split up so we could look better.
You said it was mechanics with how many difficulty?
With 2 difficulty. 2 difficulty and 3 setback. Because you're going to have to look on the outside of the ship, which means you're going to have to get in a weird position.
Okay. And then you said some of my equipment may help with that.
I can't remember what everybody's equipment is, but you may have equipment or you may have abilities that help with this. I'm not sure.
Some skills.
Skills.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that.
I don't either.
Your diagnostic system scanner would reduce 2 setback dice from checks to repair vehicles and droids.
So that's something that Droid would have.
Yeah. You also have the Hydra Spanner, which also removes a. Let's see. Commonly can be used as a weapon. Yeah, it reduces by 1, I believe.
My what now?
No, Reggie's Hydra Spanner.
Oh, Reggie's okay.
What does that also...
Yeah, you can. Your toolkit can. Oh no, it's not the Hydra Spanner. It's the toolkit. The toolkit can add 1 boost dice, and you can remove 2 setbacks because of your scanners. And then Rebel.
Oh, yeah.
I would say, yeah, there's not much you have that could help with a mechanics check. But Reggie got 2 successes. Reggie, you noticed that there is a crack on the outside of the hull with a lot of droplets outside of it. It looks like a section of the hull buckled, and the fuel cells underneath it just leaked fuel and sprayed it outside of the ship. At this point, the fuel is all in droplet form and is unusable. Like you can't get it back if you want. Plus, it may have reacted.
I'm gonna go find a bucket.
Yeah. But Rebel, you kind of catch up. You kind of are looking on the other side of the ship. What did you roll?
I rolled
3 failures and advantage. Rebel, you don't see any leaks. In fact, this side of the ship looks perfectly fine. There's there's a little bit of what looks like kind of like some carbon scoring on the outside from some sort of impact, but it doesn't look major. It looks like it was mostly external damage, and it may have been from the thing that hit you that disabled the ship. It didn't actually do any direct physical damage to the vessel. But that's all you got.
I would like to check in on my comm links and let everyone know that I don't see much damage on my side of the ship.
I get to roll to see if your comm link works.
Also, isn't if our comm link doesn't?
If your comm link doesn't work properly, it means it's going to be cutting out, and it's going to be more difficult to... You're actually going to have to make checks and stuff. But daily, your comm link is working just fine.
Beautiful.
What about us receiving when we're not?
You guys can... I would say... Let's see who can hear this. Okay. Helly's fine. Dan, your comm link is working completely undamaged. There's nothing wrong with it, it seems, as far as you can tell. Crystal clear. Reggie, your comm link catches about most of what Rebel says, but you're missing, like, it's cutting out, and there's some sort of static built into it.
Great.
But everyone does hear Rebel. And that's going to be for the entire session. I'll roll again. As long as your comm links are actually damaged, I will roll once a session to see if they're still working until you fix them.
Or if we, somehow land on them or stupid shit.
Exactly. I mean, they're built
Some of
in,
them would cause damage.
but yeah. If you take a hit, something like that. But as it is, so Rebel, what were you saying to the crew?
I don't see any damage on my side of the ship here. What about you, Rich?
It seems like I'm gonna try to respond back. There's lots of damage and the fuel seems to have leaked out completely. Unusable now.
You get most of it. You get the gist of what she's saying, but there's a lot of frizz on there. It's kind of like I'm on
This side, there's a lot of fuel leaking out.
like that. You're welcome for the sound effect. So, where would you like to go from here? You're kind of stuck in this asteroid field. I mean, this wreckage field right now. The ship is on low power now instead of being just fully off. So you do have interior lights and exterior lights right now, which are shining out into this kind of dark wreckage field.
I'm going to head back inside and motion for Roy to come on in before I close the door.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk right in.
Waddles in like a
And of course,
droidica.
I'm on the ceiling.
Click, 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 click. I love that droidicas have 3 legs. It's so great.
I'm going to... So, what type of ship did you say that I saw was behind us? That
It
will
is
still be working?
is an ARC 170. It is
Well,
the cockpit has been blasted out, but the rest of the ship looks mostly functional as far as you can tell.
not the ARC 170, but the capital ship that still seemed to have... its,
That would be the
rating.
Providence. The Providence cruiser, designation 22165. It was...
Okay.
They're not... the Separatists don't name ships unless an organic is commanding it.
Okay. Either case, it's one of our ships.
It is one of your ships, and it is the ship that you were originally stationed on.
I'm going to go back to the pilot seat and see if we can... At this point, are we repressurized now that the door is closed?
Rebel and Reggie, do you guys come back inside the ship at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. You re-enter the ship and close the door behind, and it repressurizes the interior.
Our capital ship seems to be on emergency power. Can you do anything to patch that leak?
I can jet.
Reggie, as a seasoned mechanic, you're pretty sure you could patch that leak if you got a hold of some synth tape or something, but you don't have any synth tape on you right now.
I got some synth rope.
You do know that there would be plenty of supplies on the cruiser if you guys can get to it. There's also, as far as you know, a pristine shuttle that was another shuttle in the vessel that you guys could probably use if it's still there. But last you remember, there was another shuttle there that you could, at the very least, take parts off of if it's not running.
Well, I'm going to turn off all of the lights on the ship, because we don't need that shit, and we need the power.
Yep. You reroute power from non-essential items into the engine systems and boot the engines on. As you do, they do rattle a little bit, but the ship does come to life, and as you look down at the fuel gauge, you notice you only have one fuel cell, which is about a tenth of the fuel you normally would have. There's 10 fuel cells, 9 of them look to be completely empty or ruptured in some way.
Alright, I'm going to attempt to pilot this shuttle to the Providence cruiser.
Okay, that'll be a single difficulty with 2 setbacks on a piloting space. It's not really hard because you've done this before, but you got some setbacks from the debris around you. You're trying to maneuver around it a little bit.
Yes, and I will again use my pilot ability to remove 1 setback per rank from a piloting check.
Nice.
And so you said 1 difficulty, 2 setback.
Yes. 1 success, 3 advantages. Okay. I'm going to just decide what those advantages are for at this point, and you'll find out what they are for later. But the ship responds a little bit rickety, but you're good at this. You've been flying this exact shuttle for a while now, even through some of the hardest moments. You remember that one time you accidentally blew the tail fin off most of the way? That was a good time.
The ship
You
able
still
to run at 9 parsecs.
In 8 parsecs, can you believe it? You managed to get this ship flying towards and into just outside the hangar of the Providence. As you approach the hangar, you kind of look inside. You see it is a wreck. The several racks of hyena bombers and vulture droids have fallen from the ceiling and impacted the main deck. There is a lift that's half down in the floor that seems to be off of its lowering mechanism that's kind of askew. As you look through it, you notice that most of the doors to the main hallways have been sealed, and there's only one door that's currently unsealed, and it is the hallway that leads to the observation deck near the aft section of the ship. You've come in and you managed to maneuver. There's a couple different places you could land. You could land on just kind of an open section. You could land on one of the lifts that looks less damaged, or you could just kind of move to try and get as close to one of the doors as possible. There is more wreckage near the doorways than there are in the center of the hangar.
And let's just land in the clearing.
Okay. You come in and you manage just a real safe, simple landing in the main clearing area, and as you do so, as you kind of enter the hangar area, everybody on the ship feels gravity reassert itself. You were already latched onto the ground as it was, but now that gravity reasserts itself, you kind of feel that weight hit as you kind of settle back into your joints a little bit better.
Well, except for Roy, who's currently on the ceiling.
Except for Rolly, who does detach from the ceiling because the gravity is stronger than the mag boots, and lands on the deck plate. I'm not gonna cause you any strain or anything, but you do land on the deck plate, and it's kind of embarrassing as you try, kind of like you do that thing the bugs do where they try to right themselves, and you kind of push one of your arms and manage to get back up onto your feet.
Yeah, it just falls up.
I just fall up and then pop back out on top.
That works.
Yeah.
Just cue the Transformer sounds.
You guys make the landing and extend the landing ramp, and there is atmosphere in here. As you open the rear ramp, you don't even have to depressurize. You step out, and you can hear the ship groaning ever so slightly, and then it gets completely silent, with the very, very faint hum of the energy field that's quite a distance from you now that you're near the middle of the ship. So, what are your guys' current goals? What are you looking for in here? Let's go down the list and make a list here.
My priority is getting fuel and potentially a hyperdrive.
Sounds good. Does anyone else want anything interesting on this ship as we move forwards?
Also, if I can add one more thing real quick, not as a priority, but if I stumble across one,
An arm?
if I stumble across like a B2 shell that's got a spare left arm, I may take that.
All right.
I will also be looking for a spare arm.
Well, luckily for you, even coming in for a landing, you can see there are several different B units crumpled on the ground, damaged in different ways. One of them looks like it was hit by the loading crane and just completely crushed under it. There's a couple B2s that are just look like they've been depowered, laying on the ground. One of them is sitting and has and looks to have some sort of carbon scoring on one section of it. But you could easily find an arm even as you're flying in. You don't really have to look for one too hard. The difficulty will be detaching it and reattaching it onto heli. As you come in, you land. The door opens. You have atmosphere. It's quiet. It's a little bit creaky and groany. I'm going to turn the music back on. But, so, what would you like to do next? As you exit the ship and into this very large hangar space, there's enough space in this hangar that you could stack 3 shuttles on top of each other and still have space in here. It's also very wide. There are dozens and dozens of fighter craft in pieces or damaged or rammed into the ground, all strewn across. There's all sorts of wreckage around here. As you look a little bit closer, you notice that there is the doorway to the main hallway that leads that runs along the top, the ventral side of the ship, is half open and obviously damaged. But other than that, most of the doors are sealed shut, including the lifts. So, Reggie, you would be the person who would know where a hyperdrive would be located, which would probably be the only one you can think of right now that would fit this ship would be in the other shuttle, and the other shuttle is on the floor beneath you. You would have to take a cargo lift down there, but the ship's on low power mode. Cargo lifts don't work when it's on low power mode. If you want, you can make a mechanics check to see if you can. It'll be since you are trained in working with the ship, it would be 2 difficulty mechanics check, but you wouldn't have any setbacks in this instance for the damage of the ship. You would be able to piece together where it would belong, where it would go, where you would have to go to change that option.
Who's building a desk in the background? Jesus.
Oh, that would be my dog hitting his tail against.
His Jedi is having a good day, okay?
That's
The Jedi's gone. Die, Jedi dogs!
What did I just say? So,
2 successes, 1 advantage.
that's great. So your advantage is that you notice that even the elevator that is slightly off kilter would not give you access to the floor below you. It's still not off kilter enough to drop down in. You could probably drop something on it to try and make it fall, but that could be dangerous. With your 2 successes, you would know that there's only there's 3 places in the ship that you can go to restore power. One of which would be in the main engineering bay of the engine section, where you could restore auxiliary power by reactivating the engine core. The other location would be on the bridge, which you could use to initiate the firing sequence of the main reactor to give the ship full power. Or you could go to the main reactor's engineering section itself and activate it there. Each of these methods would be different difficulties. The most difficult being would be to fire up the engines. As you kind of look around the hangar bay, you notice that you can't even get to the engines right now because the doors are probably sealed. So you would have to cut through them. But you could probably manage to wedge yourselves through the door leading towards the command deck. Which also, incidentally, would be the easiest for specifically Rebel, your slicer, to turn the whole ship back on. You might have to switch some relays in the reactor, but that's about it. What's up, Reggie? Sorry?
I'd like to see if we can get Rebel to do that. Because if she can get in there, maybe we can figure out a chance.
Okay.
Delegating.
Rebel, are you here? Did she leave?
Talking this entire time, but I completely
That you muted yourself?
That a lot.
I'm doing it for like 2 seconds to go grab something. But yes, no. I would like to point out that there's the door, and I would like to actually try to go. Yes.
Okay, so the door to the command deck is connected to is accessible normally through a freight elevator that lifts up to this actual level of the command deck's main hall. As it is, you're not sure if that freight elevator is active. While you can see the door, you're not sure if you can get to the door. There is, however, as you look around, there is a freight crane. It may or may not work, but it's, again, low power. You don't know if it has a separate power system. You may be able to fiddle with the elevator in some way, but you're going to have to go and investigate it as it is. As you guys are moving around, you notice the light, Heli specifically. Actually, who has the highest? I want everyone to roll a vigilance check for me. Actually.
Any other dice to it?
It's just vigilance. So for a vigilance check, there's no difficulty. This is a matter of managing to succeed or fail.
You are not very vigilant right
No
now.
dice
Yeah, no.
channel selected. What?
We see your roll.
I see your roll. You got
now
2
it-
successes and an advantage. Looks like Babe got a success and 2 advantages. So everyone except for Reggie notices one of the B2 battle droids' power indicator light flash on as you get close to it, and it kind of sits up and just kind of turns its body to you and goes, "What? Where?" and just stops silently and looks at you as it recognizes you as droids on his side, but seems very confused.
Wait, this is also a droid, or is this an organic?
This is a B2 battle droid. There are no organics that could survive on this wreck for 26 years. As it kind of like, it's like,
From a scout ship.
as you look at it, you realize both of its legs are currently crushed under the wing of a hyena bomber. But it is looking over at you. It's just kind of like waves at you. Are you guys talking? Are you just suddenly really quiet for some reason? What's going on?
Oh, I'm just trying to think of what to do.
Okay.
We were processing the information given to us.
My processor is.
Think faster, damn it. Just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. It was a joke.
So we have a half-crushed B2 droid that's just waking up after its 26-year nap.
Yep. It seems something about you landing triggered it to wake up.
It probably knows as much of what happened here as we.
Maybe. He's got a big dent on his forehead, you notice.
And then I'll walk over to it and ask if it remembered what happened.
It just looks at you, and then you kind of like, you hear static for a couple seconds, and then nothing. And then static for a couple seconds, and then nothing. And then it just kind of looks over at where its legs are pinned, and like points to them, and then just like tries to lift a little bit, turns to you, and then just you hear static. It seems like his vocoder's damaged.
Hey, you know, I will attempt to pry up the wing of the Hydra bomber.
Okay, would anyone else like to help?
I mean, I can try.
All
I
right.
don't know how much help Droid is, but...
You got arms.
This would be who wants to be the main this is going to be a brawn check. I'm going to say right now either brawn or athletics. So this would technically be an athletics check because it's brawn.
Hey, I don't have any advantage in athletics or proficiency, but I get 3.
What about you, Dan?
I have 3 green in both athletics and brawn.
Okay. I would say Helly does the main and you help. How about that? How's that sound? Okay, Helly, you get to upgrade your dice by 1. So you get 1 yellow and 2 green for this, and then it's going to be a 3 difficulty check for this because it's very heavy.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna roll them dice. I got an advantage.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to lift this as this is a very you realize you're basically lifting an entire hyena bomber off of his legs with where it's positioned.
If only I had the power of 2 arms.
Yeah, right? You could he's basically stuck here until you can either get a crane online or wake up the hyena bomber. And as you can tell, it doesn't look like the hyena bomber's waking up. The hyena bomber may not even have any power at this point.
I'm gonna just look at the B2 and just be like, hey, we'll do what we can to get you out.
He just kind of looks at you and kind of like shifts back forwards and back as you realize he's trying to nod, and then just depowers and lays back down again. Looks like he'll wait for you. Okay, so I'm going to assume you guys are heading towards the freight elevator to the main hallway at this point.
That's probably where our units are going.
Okay.
That's where I was planning on moving, yes.
Rolly, as you guys are rolling out, moving your ways towards this area, you're noticing that you're getting a lot of explosives in this area. There's a lot of explosive and dangerous ordnance on this floor around here, and it's concentrated near the bombers and fighters, but there's shells just about everywhere. As your munitions scanner, it continues to ping little tiny explosives all around you. This is a dangerous place, and at this point, as you're pinging this, you catch on the very edge of your ping a slowly moving explosive.
That's no fun. I'm gonna tell Ellie about that.
As you speak, the explosive stops moving.
Oh boy.
So we have a moving explosive that seems to be aware of us.
I'm gonna start walking towards where that explosive, stopped moving.
Okay. You slowly walk towards it.
Okay.
Yeah, you walk towards it. And as you get closer, you notice it's hiding behind a wing of a vulture droid. And you kind of start to walk around, and as you start to walk around, you hear the sound of something skittering away from you as the explosive bolts across the deck to your right. Everybody that wants to. Well, I'm just gonna have everybody roll a difficulty 3 vigilance check to see if they can spot this little fucker.
Well, that's not.
So vigilance with 3 difficulties.
Yes, 3 difficulty vigilance check. No, there's no setbacks. It's just very hard to roll.
I just got a success and 2 advantages.
Nice. It's because you got good vigilance.
Success and 2 threats.
Okay, so Helly, you're just gonna take a strain as you fail to catch this thing, and your system strains itself trying to catch it. Reggie, you don't notice anything, but you also have kind of like this headache going on. So you're probably, you don't even see it. In fact, you don't even really pick up on the conversation. You're just like, huh, what? Where's everybody looking?
Our processor is having a hard time keeping up. She needs more RAM. They need more RAM.
Rebel, you just straight up fail.
It's sufficient.
Yeah, Rebel, you look and you intend to find something, and you're not really bothered by it. You just look over. Your visual scanners don't get anything. But Rolly, you... Actually, Babe is the next one. Babe already got your damage. So, Rolly, you and Babe spot, skittering across the floor, a small sabotage drone. It is a familiar design. It is a CIS design, but it is running away from you, and it skitters around over behind another ship, and then just sits back there. And you can specifically, Rolly, you can see the little eye looking out at you through the darkness in that direction. It is a small spider sabotage droid.
It's a spider drone.
Yeah, there's
It doesn't look exact. It doesn't look like an act.
No, it has a lot of eyes and sensors, and it has several small explosives with it. Usually they fly around, but for some reason this one seems to be skittering. But it is a sabotage droid.
It is a sabotage droid.
Also, another thing about sabotage droids is usually they have a stealth field generator. As an explosives and sabotages expert, this thing is obviously damaged.
Interesting. Ow.
You can't quite see the damage, but it is definitely damaged. Some of its systems are not working properly.
Sorry. I'm gonna keep walking towards them and be like, it's okay. I don't want to hurt you.
It's okay. I don't want to hurt you.
Okay. You know what? Make a charm check. Give me a difficulty. I mean, you are a droid, and you are a droid of a type that it would recognize.
I didn't even hear what you said, so I'd be right back.
Yeah. Give me a charm check of a difficulty 1. It's not going to be hard to convince him that you're not going to hurt him. But you do have to convince him.
Oh boy.
Especially given that you're a droidica.
Oh, no.
I am not the charming type.
I mean, you get an advantage, and
You are, in fact, a droidica.
so it is definitely going to hide from you as it realizes that you can still see it, and it's going to crawl back under another thing and skitter into just a pile of metal wreckage. And it is gone. It is out of sight. It's still within range of your sensors. It's just at the very edge of your range now, and it's just sitting there, wherever it is.
I'm gonna say again, I'm like, look at me, I'm a little spider too. I mean no harm.
Your circuits definitely were damaged.
You're a droidica.
Yeah. I said to you.
Not the most charming droid, right?
Scariest ground
you are
soldier. Hey, I'm
Kind
your
of
friend.
built for destruction.
You're like 10 times its size.
I'm still a little fighter.
I want to roll over to the little guy, if I can, please.
You don't know where he is. You just see Rolly shouting out to someone.
This boy is hiding.
This boy is hiding, and he is out of sight. He is now completely out of sight from everyone, even the people who succeeded in spotting him in the begin with. Helly saw which direction he went the first time he hid, but now he is gone. The only person who could locate him probably is Rolly, and that's only because this little guy has explosives on him. It's the only reason you guys were ever going to see that little guy, too. But he's now hiding from you. We'll see where this goes from there. Would you like to continue to the freight elevator now?
Yes.
Okay. After that side quest that I gave, you guys head back to the elevator, and as you guys move towards the elevator, Rolly, you notice the little droid does slowly start to follow you. But at a distance, and it's definitely skittering between pile of wreckage and pile of wreckage.
Okay.
Luckily, you can keep a good idea of where a whole bunch of munitions are stored. As you guys reach the elevator, though, Dan, you know that the armory is just on the other side of those very large blast doors. And good lord, can you feel it? As your sensors are basically that entire section is just explosives. It is you know that there are every kinds of explosive that you can get your hands on in there somewhere. All of it specially deployed for your missions. Luckily, none of it exploded. Though at this after 26 years, a lot of it is probably very unstable. You don't want to be nearby when it explodes, if it explodes.
Interesting.
You guys reach the freight elevator, and there is a light on the console.
Means it's working.
There's also a computer jack on this terminal.
I want to link to it with my Self-Fixer tools, please.
Okay. You can link in. You actually have authority in this system and actually have a designation and clearance level, so you don't need to slice it. But this will be a computer's check to see if you can reroute the power into this freight elevator, because it is low power. It won't be able to move up and down, but it can be interacted with right now. There's enough power to kind of get into the system and see what you can do, but not enough power to actually use the heavy hover lifts.
Okay. Alright. Is there a specific difficulty, or is it just a straight tech?
This would be a difficulty 2.
Well, that's fun. 1 success, 1 threat.
That's not bad. You're gonna take 1 strain as you do you shunt power to the elevator, and it overloads the socket a little bit and spits you out. But the elevator does work now. It has power.
Yeah, no, that was a search. I wish I had a search predictor.
I like it how everyone is getting strain except for me when I have the highest strain.
Oh, don't worry. There'll be a time and a place, Dan.
Yeah, when we actually start fighting things.
Everything's friendly.
How do you have such high strain?
He's the battle droid.
He has
talent tree.
Yeah, his talent tree gives him strain.
There's at least 3 different perks I have right now that give me strain threshold.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's how he kitted his guy out. He went for skills for his guy. So, I mean, he went for not skills, talents for his guy. It's a very effective method, so I'm told. Okay, so so the turbo left has power now.
You're welcome.
I will go out and pat Rebel on the head.
Nah, don't you patronize me. This is literally my job.
Your 1 arm.
With my 1 arm, yes.
Don't you patronize me. And I want to roll in ahead of him.
Okay, you're gonna roll straight into a wall because you're on the bottom floor still.
We have not gone up.
No one said that they're going up the elevator yet.
Oh wait, were we in the elevator? I thought we were just opening the elevator.
It's a turbo lift. It's a freight elevator, so it's a big flat platform that uses turbo lifts to lift up cargo and stuff. Like,
so we won't
you can drive a
onto it
truck
in the
onto
first
this
place.
and lift it.
That was my confusion.
Sorry.
I thought we were going into an elevator.
Nope, we are on a cargo platform.
Yeah, it's a cargo lift. It's slightly different. Anyways,
Okay,
at this
I
point,
want
I'm
to
just
roll
gonna
over and I want to get it moving up.
Okay, you roll up and you hit the button for go up because there's only 5 floors to this thing, and you're on the second to top floor. You go up, you hit the elevator, and it lifts you up a level to where you get access to the main corridor that leads to the command deck. This is running along the top kind of spine of the ship, and there are several corridors leading off in either direction off of each section of this pathway. In front of you are 2 big double doors, one of which is slightly off of its rails and has left a gap that's probably that may or may not be big enough for you guys to go through. We'll see. You may have to help
Well,
each
I'm
other through
sure-
it.
I'm sure the R2 droids can, or the R3 droids can find a way through.
Yeah.
I could probably shimmy through. I'm the thinnest of all of us.
I'm the biggest motherfucker there is.
I mean, you could also roll up and take up less space, so you might be able to. I'm gonna say that you can certainly try to go through this area.
I'd like to attempt it.
Okay. So
If she fails, I want for X.
Rebel, you go first. As you go first, you kind of like shimmy sideways and kind of hobble your little feet through. It takes you a bit, but you manage to squeeze through the gap. Then comes Reggie, who follows through. Then Rolly tries, and when he's rolled up, he can definitely kind of get his way in there, but he can't get the momentum to push himself through, so he gets stuck halfway through.
I'm going to put a foot on the back of Rolly and just push him through.
You just boot to the back of Rolly and push, and you get him the last little bit through, and he slips through and starts rolling pretty quickly out the other end. And then BX Battle Droid, you can actually, you're the one who has the least of a difficult time. You just kind of like squat and like shimmy through, and you're in.
Again, I am the thinnest of all of these droids.
Yep. As you guys enter, the lights in this area are all kind of a dull orange emergency light. There's no large overhead lights on or anything. It's very dark, but you can still see. And in front of you is a very long corridor with what looks to be a series of defensive positions built out of crates arranged leading to the leading towards the end of the hall, which at the very end of this hall, you know, is the command deck.
I am fully convinced that they lost and they just left us here.
Did the Republic call reinforcements? As they've got broken ships out here as well, and it doesn't make sense that they would send in reinforcements and leave all of this wreckage.
All I know is there is nobody here. Except for us droids. That seems a little weird, don't you think?
Well, it has been a lot of cycles since we've last moved, according to the ship's data log.
With everything you read on the data log, it could be longer. I agree, I think everyone's dead.
Everyone's just dead.
Everybody roll me a level 3 vigilance check.
So difficulty 3
is there's
Yeah, difficulty 3 vigilance check.
Hey, I'm the only one who wins.
Oh boy. None of you guys hear this as you're kind of arguing, but Helly, you catch out of the corner of your ear the sound of skittering.
Sound of what?
Metal skittering, like little metal legs clicking against the surface, skittering around. Maybe. You can't really identify it. Whatever it is, it's small.
Tell them to hush up that I hear something.
You hush up, yeah?
keep the same line. We're so snarky.
The two R3s immediately turn on you and tell you to shut the fuck up.
At this point, I'm just gonna already be silent.
At this point, as you guys get quiet, you don't hear the skittering stops as you guys get quiet, and then all of you can hear a language, and then all of a sudden, all of you can start to hear little. It's in a language you don't recognize.
Well, is it a language I don't recognize or a language I don't understand?
It's a language you don't understand. If you want to try and recognize it, I would say that would be a xenology roll.
You know what? Let's fuck around and find out.
Let's fuck around and find out. Difficulty 1 xenobiology because of xenology because of your history.
All right, I'm rolling. Let's go.
Damn.
Holy
5
shit.
successes.
5 successes and a threat. You do blow one of your capacitors. You're going to take a strain on this one. But yeah, you get 5 successes. You immediately recognize that this is Colicoid, and these these are buzz droids. You're not sure how the buzz droids still have power. Maybe they've been draining the power out of the ship just wherever they can. But you hear buzz droids, and your experience with buzz droids is that they are temperamental at best, but usually friendly to their allies, if they recognize you as allies. They're not the brightest tools in the shed, but good lord, are they destructive.
My kind of droid.
You got
I
buzz
do I
droids.
see one, and can I attack it?
Do not attack the buzz droids.
Do not attack the buzz droids. They have buzz saws.
They will eat an R3 for breakfast.
I want to attack it!
You do not see you don't see any buzz droids. Babe just hears the buzz droids. You guys also hear it. You just don't see any of them. You can't quite tell where they're coming from because it's very echoey in here.
I want to find it.
I'm just imagining you brandying, like holding up your big wrench, and you're like, I want to find none of them.
Do not attack the buzz droid.
Buzz droids are friendly, not food.
I don't want to eat it. I want to see
If it detects you as a friend, it will not. But if you try to attack it, they have friends.
As he says this, Helly is looking at you, and you see behind him a red dot, and then another red dot, and then another red dot as they start to crawl up and look and over the little tiny the boxes and fortifications, and then you realize they're on the ceiling too. This hallway is filled with buzz droids. And they're all like slowly creeping out and looking at you.
I'm going to put my blaster on my back. If I had... Actually, I'm going to put my blaster on the ground.
I'm holding my wrench up. I'm not letting go of the weapon.
Yeah, you hold up your wrench and kind of like look at them. Helly, you put your blaster on your back, and you said you held one of your hands up too.
Well, I figured my blaster was already on my back, so I'm actually just putting my blaster on the ground.
Okay, you pull your blaster off and gently set it on the ground in front of you, and you hear more of that colicoid, which is the buzz droid's language, as they start chattering to each other, and then one of them starts like kind of creeps out into your into kind of like the lighter areas, and just gets real close to your blaster and looks up at you, and you see it has these two little grabbing claws on one side of its body, and then on the other side it has this huge round buzz saw, and you can see another little arm out the back with a what looks like a little mini plasma cutter head. It's two big round semi-spherical hemispherical shells kind of like are wobbling beside it, and it kind of looks up at you and then kind of starts to step around you, and then it says something to the rest of the group, and the lights in the hallway turn on.
I'm gonna pick my blaster back up.
You pick up the blaster and the colicoid, and the little buzz droid just kind of like looks up at you and starts to just jabber at you. It does not seem to speak. I'm gonna double check to see if it speaks.
I don't believe they speak binary.
No, they only speak colicoid. They do not speak binary. They don't speak your language. These guys, it's like when you're.
Well, they may understand it. They just may not speak.
Yeah, they can understand you, but yeah, or at least you think they can understand you. They can understand issued orders from high command, so you imagine they understand binary, but they're just jabbering in colicoid right now. And all of the other buzz droids are now climbing down off the walls and coming up and kind of like gathering around you in kind of like a little group.
I'm swinging. I may not hit anything, but I'm keeping it. I'm force field of swimming wrench.
You said
No.
they have fusion cutters on them, right?
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them has a built-in fusion cutter.
I'm gonna hold up my fusion cutter and be like, look, we're the same.
You hold up your fusion cutter, and they all hold their fusion cutters up and click them on, and then go.
I want to click mine on in solidarity.
You click yours on, and it lights for a second, and then fizzles out, and then lights again, and then sputters to life, and then continues to like kind of sputter a little bit.
Oh, now I'm gonna turn it off. Like it's broken. That's how broken it was.
One of the little buzz droids kind of looks up at you, mutters something, and then skitters off into the darkness. Skitters off into the walls. Literally climbs into one of the small access panels in the walls and disappears.
Oh, hello.
I think he's going to get me parts to fix mine, since he noticed that mine is very much broken.
You are too trusting.
Literally.
They can kill us.
Okay, they are on the Separatist ship. I was literally lent to the Separatists for this mission.
They're literally Separatist-produced droids.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything. I barely trust you guys.
Fair enough.
The buzz droids are giving you a wide berth, Reggie.
Thank you.
They're not going to get close to you.
They can sense that you don't trust them, so the feeling is mutual.
No, they understand. They can understand what you're saying. They heard the entire conversation, and they are backing away from you.
I scared them. Good.
I'm gonna crouch down to the buzz droids and try to talk to them and say we need access to the armory in the storage. Can you help us out?
The buzz droid kind of looks up at you and then says something, and then looks over at his friends, and they kind of like get into a little group and talk to each other for a few minutes, and then he kind of comes back and just kind of goes and just kind of like nods his head up and down, like bounces up and down. And then he kind of like gestures with his saw down the corridor and starts walking towards the command deck.
Come on, Roll. We got some armaments ready for you.
I don't think he's here. I think he had to get up and go get something.
Son of a bitch.
You did a nice thing for the man, and he's not even here.
I know. How dare he?
Okay. So you guys head towards the command deck. You follow these buzz droids through the hallways as they direct you in to the actual door of the command deck, and this door is closed. It is also magnetically sealed.
Oh, I'm back.
The buzz droids all kind of like.
Something nice for you. You were gone.
I'm sorry. What did you do?
We're getting access to the armory.
Oh, fun.
And why have we decided to give him more, weapons?
Because
He literally our he is the one who will
weapons are part of my religion.
Do we trust the buzz droids to lead us in the right place?
Yes, I do.
I have a feeling that this Starfleet is not remember the mission protocol.
I mean, but buzz droids have like have a D&D intelligence score of like 3.
Their intellect score is 1.
Well, no, like I'm sure their intellect score for this is 1. We're
Yeah.
talking in D&D. We're like
In D&D they have an intelligence of like 1 or 2.
I gave him 3.
Yeah, they're not bright.
Fine, so they're idiots.
Yes,
They are dumb, but
that's the point.
They like to rip things apart.
That's about it.
So if I can direct their fury.
So you guys come to this sealed door, and you can see that it looks like they've tried to cut through it several times, but multiple bulkheads have sealed closed here, and it is now ray shielded.
Oh, fun.
So it looks like they tried to get into the systems and rip it apart to open the door, but they couldn't.
B3, you wanna see what you can do about that ray shield?
I'ma connect to it. I'ma hack it. I wanna hack it.
Okay. So that is going to be it's going to be a difficulty 4 with 3 setback. This is not an easy check because this is a command bridge on lockdown. The only reason it's not any harder than that is simply because you have access codes. You have some access codes that you can use to try and figure this out.
It is a computer's check, correct?
Yes, this would be a computer's check, and you would be using your slicer's tools.
Which slicer's tools give me...
Your slicer's tools...
It just counts as a toolkit for the purpose of hacking into computer systems and hollow networks. So, a toolkit gives me an advantage, is that right? Or proficiency? Wait, or does it just give me a boost? I can't.
I'm looking.
But you said difficulty 3?
4.
Oh, difficulty 4, okay.
So it's going to take you. You have to you have to upgrade one of those difficulties to a challenge dice because of the damage to your slicer's gear, and your slicer's gear is what allows you to interact with these systems for hacking.
Okay, so wait, I do.
So you do 3 purples and a red.
Yeah.
3 purples
And a red.
Okay.
And then
for my tools, I add.
Your tools are not adding anything because your slicer's kit just gives you the ability to interact with it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
1 failure, 3 threats. Okay, I'm just going to use. That's going to upgrade the next check you make. And yeah, you straight up fail. You try to hack in, but you hit a wall of.
No, it's got a firewall, guys.
Yeah.
There's a major firewall. I can't get past this. I don't have the clearance codes for this.
As you say the word clearance codes, one of the little droids kind of clicks his shell and starts like bobbing up and down, And then he says something to the other droids, and all the other droids look at him, and then they all start bobbing up and down and start looking at you guys.
Oh, do you have the command pods, buddies?
The one that's bobbing up and down just shakes his body, kind of like shakes back and forth, like, no, we don't have them.
Do you know where to get them?
Bounces up and down.
Alright, give me 2 of them, buddies.
They all start skittering back down the hallway the other direction.
I'm a follow.
So, you guys all follow these little monster droids as they take you back to the hangar, down the elevator, over to the other side of the building, and they start just literally crawling up the walls. But you find a problem as you're on the other side of the hangar, and the lift on this side has not been activated.
Can I use my mag boots to crawl on the wall?
Not in gravity. They're not strong enough to work in normal gravity. They're for low gravity and no gravity situations only.
Reggie needs to upgrade these for us.
Could be useful. The buzz droids are able to do it because they're very small. And they also have thrusters. They can fly if they want to.
Dang, why did I decide to be a buzz droid?
Buzz droids are great. They're scary. They're not very bright, but they're dangerous.
I don't think we had buzz droids as an option. I don't think you gave me you gave us a buzz droids as an option.
I did not.
I think that was why I didn't.
We did not, because they are a very niche.
Yeah,
creation.
they only speak one language, and it's not a language that anyone else usually speaks. So there's some good reasons not to be a buzz droid. One of the other reasons is that they are very small, and so they don't have a lot of health. There's a lot of disadvantages to it.
They get easily one-tapped.
Yeah. Which I'm sure I could have reflavored just a regular droid like I did for the rest of you, but I really didn't want to mess with a buzz droid because I wanted to use them as something else.
Yeah. Understandable.
So, as you reach the elevator, you see a buzz droid is sitting on the console, literally ripped the console open and is fiddling with the wires under the console. I'm gonna real quick just roll as a group because I'm gonna say there's like 3 of them working on this. Difficulty 3, and they're skilled with this sort of stuff. So I'm gonna give them one of these and roll. How do I hit? Where's the roll button? That's not the roll button. Fuck! What happened?
Oh, there.
Ellie, why won't it let me roll?
Because you may need the. I can only roll when I have got my character.
I'm gonna roll it with Fix It.
That'll work.
But
Fix It is honorary buzz droid.
They don't manage to fully restore power, but they do manage to get this panel opened up so someone with mechanics could more easily fix it.
They're not ones who are typically putting things together. They normally rip them.
Yeah. So it would add a boost to the next check for fixing this.
I'll hesitantly go help them.
Okay. Were you the one who got... Yes, you are. Okay, so you're going to do, as a difficulty, it's going to be 1 red and 2... Yeah, 1 red, 2 purples, and you'll get a blue from the little fellas helping you out. And then you add your mechanics.
To mechanics check, right?
Yep, let me double check to see if you get anything from that. You get to remove 2 setbacks from this.
How many setbacks should I have?
So no setbacks now. It's just two purples, 1 red.
Okay.
And a blue. There you go. 0 successes, but a triumph. I'm going to let that triumph be that you fix it. You don't fix it mechanically. What happens is you swing your wrench at the droid on the console to get him to move away and hit it, and the entire platform just shudders and starts moving upwards with all of you on it.
Nice of engineering.
You didn't fix the problem, but you accomplished the goal.
I'm calling that a win.
Victory.
Absolute win.
It lifts you all the way up, and you guys find yourself faced with a door that has about six of these little munchkins currently plasma torching a hole in it. Now that they know where you need to go, they are plasma torching a hole to the direction they need you to go.
See? Friends.
Whatever.
One of the buzz droids like puts a saw blade to the top of his eye socket and just like salutes you. As you guys approach the door and the door falls down, and you kind of step through this now smoking and semi-molten hole in the door, big enough for you guys to just walk through. You see the other end of the hallway is pitch black. Like, it is completely dark in here. There's no emergency lights or anything, and the buzz droids are not following you in here.
Guess this is where the party ends for them, huh?
You know what? I'm gonna break out my electro binocs because they have night vision.
Hell yeah, dude. You pull out your
low level light. Allow low or light. They allow vision in low light or extremely bright condition. So it might give you a little something. They also have thermal.
Yeah. So you pull out your binoculars and you cycle through the settings, and there's at first you don't see anything. It's just a hallway that's dark. And then as you switch over to the infrared, is it infrared?
Thermal.
It's thermal, right? Yeah. As you switch to thermal, you notice that there is a lot of heat in different areas. There's some heat blooms kind of lifting up behind some of the different sections of the wall. And Dan, your sensors ping, and you can sense at different distances along the edge of this, along the sides of this corridor, and in the top of the corridor, there are little packages of explosives. You can't quite identify what kind, but there are little packages of explosives.
I'm gonna go up to the nearest one.
Okay,
cautiously and look at it.
Okay. It's going to be in the ceiling, and as you get close to it, a ceiling panel drops down and lands right in front of you with a Trandoshan standing directly on top of it. A shotgun in his hand as he screeches something at you in Trandoshan and pulls the trigger. Everybody roll vigilance. We're going to do this as an actual combat.
Oh, god damn it.
4 successes.
What's the difference between advantage and successes?
Advantages give two advantages can be expelled to activate an active ability or a weapon ability.
Oh.
At least I believe that's what it is from when I read that 3 weeks ago. That sound right there, X?
One sec. I'm importing a thing.
Oh no, he's importing a thing. Everybody run.
Oh,
Duck and cover.
have no wrench.
Games, game table, enemies, add new adversary, Indian count.
Quick question: what is the fix-it?
That is Reggie's little observation droid, but he's not. He has. Guys haven't activated him yet, so he's unconscious.
I saw him
I
roll.
don't think we downed him yet. Oh, that's just because that's the only way for X to roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a cool check.
Fix-It was honorary buzz droid.
Ah.
Okay. You guys need to. You guys all rolled your vigilance, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So 4 successes goes to Helly. 2 successes. So it's going to be. Well, they're all going to act on this at the same time, and they're all going to act before you because they're just a single group of Trandoshans.
Actually, I'll say there is a start initiative button.
Oh, there is? Where?
Top next to the PCs and NPCs, there's initiative.
Oh.
So I'm gonna select vigilance and I'm gonna roll initiative. Not as good as my last roll, but
How do I do that?
so up at the top bar next to the player icons, there's a start initiative. Or let me just say stop initiative at this point. Then you select your vigilance as from your character sheet. And
Or, in this case, it is a vigilance because you're being ambushed.
oh yeah.
There we go. That's much better. And I think.
So, how this works for combat. Dan, it doesn't look like it. What did you roll?
3
Okay, so
successes
there's
and-
just 4 of you, one right after another. So how this works is that you guys don't necessarily you guys share initiative spots. So any one of you can pick any one of these player character initiative spots. We just can only have one initiative per round. So when you're fighting multiple groups or multiple enemies, that's how this will work. Right now there are 4 how many Trandoshans? 6 Trandoshans just dropped out of the ceiling. They're a single group of enemies. They are what are known as a minion. They act together. They all work together. This is just to make it real easy for me. When I have more than 5 enemies, I will do groups like this. But it also means they're very dangerous. So, especially with them ambushing you. So I already said that they're going to make an attack. So I'm going to go right here and use this one. Build pool. Okay, and this is going to be against Dan. So let me double check that I'm doing this right, because this is one of the first times I've done it. Dan, do you still have your energy shield, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to you can use your reaction to activate that if you would like for this attack.
Sure.
Okay, that'll impose 2 more. They have to get a number of successes equal to or greater than your armor. Plus 2 because of, well, your armor is your... Why did you
Your
not...
soak.
It's your armor, and then you take damage based on soak. No dice channel selected. What?
That just means
Well,
it's not
my
really
deflector shield just gives me 2 defense.
What's up
That's
with
what-
all these NPCs, dudes?
We might need to stop initiative. I
Oh.
think it's adding them into initiative order.
Okay, I stopped initiative. That should work now, right?
Should.
No dice channel selected?
It rolled.
Oh, it did? There we
No,
go.
That just means no dice channel selected. Just means that this is not going to import to Discord.
Okay. So that means I need to import it to Discord.
Well, it just means you just need to select the dice channel for Discord, I think, in the app, and then it'll also post the dice rolls to Discord.
Can be activated with... Just making sure I'm activating Blast correctly. I can activate Blast. So, he pops out of this and is just going to pull the trigger, and he is going to hit all 4 of you. But it's 2 hits for armor, so he's going to not actually hit Dan. But he's going to deal blast damage to everybody else. So that is going to be... where is it? Where'd it go? Help. Load. There you are. Blast 5. Engage with suffers wounds equal to... So you guys each take 5 wounds. As he just they drop out of the ceiling and shotgun you guys.
But not me.
That's countered by the soak, correct?
That is, yes, you can soak some of that up with your soak, and they don't hit Dan because his shield was up and he bounces all the shells. But your shield is now down, Dan. So you have your armor, your defense is now lower by 2.
Alright, and for the people who don't have 5 soak, which would be Daily and Gray, remember our armor does give us 1 additional soak to blast.
Yes.
So the only one really taking damage will be Rebel.
Because the total damage was... Repeat that one more time for me.
So you take 1 damage.
5, okay, so...
Yeah, that is... So you add 1 to your wounds.
Yeah.
Which I did for you.
Does that use
I
up that
literally just did, though. I just did another one. Did I add another? Oh, I thought I did.
I see you at 1.
You're at 1.
Okay.
Does that use up the soak?
No,
Or
soak
that-
is every attack.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Soak is
just
every
a
attack
passive,
because that
is
can
the
be a
armor
lot of
class.
damage. You just managed to have a high enough defense that you didn't take the damage from this. Because that's not the damage from this. That's the blast damage, which is the area of effect. That's what you're specialized in. You'll really like it later on.
Yeah.
It is Vicious 1, but it... Let's see if I can remember... Yeah, there's no critical roll on this, so... Well, that was a great shot. That's their turn. It is now one of the players.
Death and destruction.
Although
So,
they didn't have any difficulties added to their roll.
if I remember correctly, it's not... Oh, no! Your armor is the difficulties on the roll, isn't it?
Well, no. Difficulty checks for combat are based on what type of attack and distance.
Okay.
So, I'm assuming they are doing a short-range gun attack.
Yes.
Correct? So, any ranged check at a range of short is 1 difficulty.
Okay, let's try this again.
I was about to say, if you want to just roll 1 difficulty, we can see if what that would change.
Okay.
And we can do some quick math. So we got a failure, so it was 1 success.
Okay, so it doesn't change the outcome of the roll, but
But
good
we
to
know
know.
in the future.
I'll remember that.
Because that also applies to us.
Thank you for knowing this.
I'm looking through the SRD now just to
Keep me sane.
a little bit, and also just to kind of learn how shit works.
How it do.
Okay, so how do I attack
There we go.
now?
Okay, so they're within engaged distance. currently. They ambushed you at engage. Well, not engaged. They're at short range. Sorry, they ambushed you at short range, and pulled an attack on you. Now you can make. You can use a maneuver. You can use one maneuver, and you can do one combat attack. For the maneuver, you can move. You can aim. You can assist. You can take a guarded stance. You can move something. You can manage your gear.
What does building a pool mean? Build pool.
Building a pool is building up the dice pool.
Use your dice.
Oh, okay.
So what you do is you click on your weapon. You build the pool,
Okay.
and then you add difficulty based on your range. I have my cheat sheet up now for this.
So short.
So it's
Fair.
1 difficulty. And do you want to use your maneuver to aim? Because that will add a boost.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just going to take a single aim maneuver and use your combat, so short range, and make an attack with your weapons. If I remember correctly, dual wielding's a little bit
It's
different.
1 difficulty. He should have 1 difficulty though because of the close range, the short ranged attack.
Yeah, it's 1 difficulty.
So, do I build a pool with both of the weapons? So throw
No,
both of
just
the weapons?
so it's a combined. It's technically a combined check. So you just roll your. You're just rolling your check with your attack. Your ranged. Is it light or heavy?
Heavy.
Okay, you're rolling a ranged heavy check, and then if you get enough, successes, or if you get 2 advantages or 1 triumph, you can hit with the second weapon. If you get a single hit, if you get a single success, then you can hit with your primary weapon. In other words, if you succeed, you hit with your primary. If you really succeed, you can hit with both.
Okay. So it's the ranged heavy, a difficulty
Of 1.
of 1, and that's it? Even if after I aim?
You add 1 boost for the aim.
So the boost is the dice you had.
Yeah.
For that.
2 successes, 1 threat. So you do not hit with your secondary weapon, and I am going to spend that threat. Wait, how much threat do I have to spend to have you run out of ammo?
He has the weapon cell, so it's gonna take you an extra.
An extra threat, so I can't do that. So you just hit him.
GM would need to spend threat failure or threat equal. We need to spend a significant failure or reverse triumph or a number of failures to cause a weapon. The number of failures it requires additional failures to apply that effect to that weapon. So, yeah, it takes an additional.
So yeah, roll. How much damage is your weapon, Dan?
8.
So that's 8 points of damage. They're gonna soak 5 of that. So that is.
And then there's also blast.
Can you activate blast? You have to have 3. You don't have any advantages, so you can't activate blast.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
2 advantages or a triumph.
Yeah, 2 advantages or a triumph to activate blast and or your secondary weapon, which is your choice at that point. So you did damage. You definitely you opened fire with your 2. Basically, they're like riot shotguns, heavy riot shotguns, blasting small pellets of energy out into the air, and they pepper these Trandoshans, who take most of the hits on their armor, on their chest armor. But yeah, you rattled them a bit.
How did they have so many dice?
They're acting as a group. When they act as a group, they add to the dice pool. It's how the minions work. It's how they balance the game. Because you guys are capable of wiping out minions way faster than you think.
That's fair.
And as they take damage, they will get weaker and weaker. So, I think that's Dan's turn. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, I thought it was based on vigilance.
No, it's just whoever wants to go next. Like I said, you guys share positions. So you're rolling to help each other get to get slots where you guys want to be. So you can basically act at any time that's a player character position in the role. And since there's only one enemy right now, technically, because it's a group acting together, you guys basically get to choose who wants to go in what order in this.
Hey, I'm gonna draw my blaster and I'm gonna aim and blast.
Aim and DACA.
So I'm gonna select that weapon. I get a boost because I'm aiming.
And a difficulty.
Yep, 1 difficulty.
So why do we have the difficulty?
Because it's short range.
Every type of attack has the counter to it.
Yeah.
So I don't need to. So I shouldn't need to add any other. Add like my weapon proficiency because if I'm selecting a weapon for the roll, right? Oh yeah, I can just build pool. There we go. I figured it out.
There you go. Just gotta build the pool.
Cool that has this whole system for us, because I would not have figured out how to do
Yeah, look, that's...
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have physical dice, but yeah, it's a lot.
Okay, I'm rolling.
2 successes, 2 advantages, my friend. Would you like to do anything with those advantages?
Let me see if my gun can do anything with those advantages. You know what? I have a stun. I'm going to activate my... Actually, I probably need to use my stun setting before I do the attack, don't I?
Yes.
Well, damn.
That would be in a maneuver, wouldn't it be?
Probably.
Activate stun.
I do not have anything that I can do unless auto... What is auto fire? That's...
Oh, auto fire?
What does that do? Yeah, I've got auto fire.
Let me real quick find that again, because if I remember correctly, that's pretty juicy.
I imagine that it is, but I gotta have to...
I think it lets you spray an area, basically.
Auto fire, active. When attacking with a weapon of auto fire is generally less accurate, and the attacker must increase the difficulty to check by 1. The user may choose not to activate the auto fire ability or the weapon to decrease the to avoid the difficulty increase.
You can activate it with... You can use 2 advantage to activate the ability.
Can I do that after the attack?
Yeah. It's auto fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So a weapon with auto fire can be used to shoot in a rapid succession. Attacking with the weapon on auto fire is generally less accurate, etc., etc. I forget that it does increase your difficulty by 1, so roll another difficulty die real quick.
And difficulty die. 2 failures.
That's a neutral hit. You can still activate auto fire though.
Let's go auto fire.
So that deals an additional hit. So you're going to hit him. You're going to hit him once at this. So each time you trigger it, you can deal an additional hit to the target. Just remember in the future that it's an additional difficulty to do, and I will let you roll that extra difficulty dice after the fact if you would like to. In this case.
I'll roll from more at the start if I'm going to auto fire.
Okay.
Just to keep it clean.
But for the sake of this, how much damage does your weapon do?
It looks like 11. It's 11 parentheses 9. I don't know which one there.
Well, let's see how much health each one of these little fellas has, just to remember. Yeah, you open fire and one of them just hits the deck. You blast him, you hit him with several bolts before he is on the ground, and you manage to glance another one of them a couple times with this fire.
I love the idea that I'm firing this, this was just one arm. Just,
yeah. There you go. Okay, next, Rebel or Reggie?
to aim. I would think. Yes, I'd like to aim with my blaster.
Okay.
Alright, where do I select my weapon? I'm trying to remember how to select my weapon.
So off on the far right-hand side, there's the
Oh, there we go.
the clock arrow. You found it. Then you do the drop down, select weapon, build pool.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would like to aim, so that gives me a boost, right?
Yep.
And I would like to fire at the swarm.
Hey, Jay, you did get a pistol,
Roll.
didn't you?
Yeah, I do have a light
Did you have
blaster
your one
pistol.
Did you add your one difficulty?
It's one difficulty
one
for short
difficulty,
range, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, one
Okay,
success,
okay.
3
I was making
advantages. Okay. Let me check to see what you can do with those 3
You can
advantages.
hit just the short range, and it'll add the difficulty by itself.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep that in the future.
You can spend those to negate a target's defensive bonus, ignore environmental penalty, target is disabled instead of suffering wounds or strain, 1 melee or ranged defense until the end of your next turn, or the target drops a weapon they're wielding.
Can you go through those just one more time for me?
Okay, you can...
It may help if you throw them in resources. Or
Let's see.
something, so we can actually
The
read them.
only thing you can really do with that many is either give someone a boost on their next check, give the enemy a setback, perform a free maneuver, activate an item. Here, I'm just gonna real quick because this is really useful to you guys.
Yeah, that thing something worth pinning, definitely.
Copy. So here's a whole list of the maneuvers. I'm going to pin that one for sure. There you go. So look that over, look at those, and remember and just kind of look at the chat. Look where the roll was made. So you've got 3 advantages, which are the wing-looking things, and I'm going to put this up on the stream now.
Hey, I would like to give Reggie so it gives them a boost, right?
Yeah.
Boost their next check.
It's to any allied character's next check.
Yes.
Okay, that
Right,
works.
next one, so you can spend 1.
Yes.
And
still
you,
have 2 more advantages.
yeah, you still have. You can spend 1 to do that, and you can spend.
2
Yeah.
more.
So you spend 1 for the next allied character, or you can spend 2 for any allied characters, or you could spend all 3 of them to just give 3 boosts to the next character. You can
Let's
also
go ahead and get
recover
the
a
3
strain,
boosts.
by the way.
Oh, I can reduce straight?
Yeah.
Where's that on?
What's the critical rating of your weapon?
4.
Okay, so you didn't get a critical.
Also, since I had 2 advantages, actually I did use my 2 advantages. Never mind.
Wait, where does it say that I can reduce strength?
It's
one strain.
recover
It's the
1
third
strain,
one on the
3rd
top
effect.
Oh. Okay. Alright, yeah, let's go ahead and give 2 boosts to the next player and recover 1 string.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna go in here.
Alright, Gray. It's your turn. Are you gonna go hit these train potions with your wrench?
Yes. Would like to roll as fast as I can and smack it.
Sounds like fun. You're getting into engaged range, which will make it more difficult for them. And now the stream can see all the stuff you can do in all the combat maneuvers. I'm just going to leave that up there for now. Okay, this is going to be, you can definitely, with your maneuver, move up to them and hit them. So that's fine. And that's going to be, let me check my thing one more time to see.
It'd be 2 difficulty.
Yeah, 2 difficulty for this one. And it is going to be a melee attack. So melee or brawl. Brawl is with no weapon, so it is melee. But you have a weapon, right? Set up?
They got the wrench.
They got the wrench. So you click on the wrench. Okay, so you click on your character on the left. You go over to the right and look for a little gun looking tab. Click on that. Click on the breaker. Build your pool. And then it's going to be 2 difficulty, 2 boosts, which the boosts are blue. The difficulties are purple.
If you select engage, it should give you the difficulties already. But you want to make sure that before you roll, you have 2.
Yeah. So it's going to be a green, 2 blues, and 2 purples, I think.
Are there any red ones?
Nope, no reds.
No red.
You really don't want a red either. Those are scary. Two successes, two threats.
2 threats.
Okay. I am going to use one of those... Oh, wait, it's a melee weapon. It doesn't have any ammunition. Never mind.
You're gonna make her reload their wrench?
No.
You gave me a bomb stick.
That's 2 threats, right?
2.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to suffer 2 strain from that. As you do swing it, but that's a big wrench, and it's hard on you. And you nail him. Right, you just fucking nail him. Let's see, how much damage does that do? Damage 4, critical rating of 4. Okay, so that's 4 damage on them. And you also can... Let's see, the stun property has to be activated. Okay. I mean, the... Crap, the property on her wrench. What's it called? Someone find me a wrench again. Let's see. It is... Just checking it. Disorient. There we go. After hitting with the combat, you can spend... Okay, that costs 2 advantage to do. Never mind then. Good to know. Go back up.
Yeah, I think the ones that say trigger are the ones that you can activate after the rolls.
Yeah. So that's going to be 2 advantage to do. Anyways, you smack him hard. And you actually do take this guy out. Just bam, right on the forehead, and he hits the ground. Bonk.
The great bonkening.
The great bonkening. And that would be the end of your turn. And that is...
Someone say bonk?
That means it's the Trandoshans' turn, who are, frankly...
Oh, my bonk's not working.
Who are frankly upset. Are frankly upset at this droid that came up and bonked one of their friends, but more upset at the commando droid that just laid down fire. So they are going to make a short range attack.
They're upset about this group of 26-year-old droids rolling.
Yeah, these old droids, these fucking geriatric droids here, a bunch of grandparents. I'm gonna build that pool. And roll those dice. 2 successes and 1 advantage. They are just...
blast.
Yeah, they're going to... They can't blast, so they're just going to... And you can't critical either, so they're just gonna hit you. That's gonna do damage. That's all that's gonna do. I'll pull that up again. And that is going to be damage of 8. So Heli, take 8 points of damage.
I have to be 3.
Yep, soaked to 3. And you can take that as either strain or wounds. You get to choose.
I'm gonna go with wounds because I have more wound capacity.
Then strain capacity. Yep.
And I get repair kits.
Yeah, and so they put just a bunch of fucking shrapnel right into your chest plate, and it hurts. It hits like a train. So there's that. That is their move. Oh, I forgot to aim. Oh well. They're going to step back from the party. They're going to move a range band away so that they're no longer engaged with Reggie, which means Reggie, you do get to swing at them as they disengage. I think.
Let's fucking
I just want to say, after they shoot me, the DX just going to say, Raja, Raja.
Raja, Raja. It's going to be engage range with your hammer. If you want, I can set up the roll for you.
If you could.
There you go. It's going to be 2 purples and a green. It won't actually let me roll for you. 1 success, 1 threat. So 1 threat, you're going to suffer a strain from the threat. And you're going to hit them. So they're going to take how much damage again?
4.
4 points of damage to these dum-dums. Yeah, you clip one of them on their shoulder as they run away from you. You are a screeching droid with a big wrench. They were not ready for this. Okay, so that's their turn.
Geriatric droids are giving them some trouble.
Give them what's for. So who wants to go next?
Can I?
Yeah, they are
Go
now.
ahead.
They're now
Daka
going.
Daka.
They are still at short range. They just moved out of engaged range from Rebel, but they're still technically within short range.
And can I take another movement to aim?
Yeah, you can use a maneuver to aim.
Okay, and that adds a boost, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You can also suffer a strain to aim a second time
Oh, okay.
to get 2 boosts,
Oh,
just so you know.
I have
But
16 fucking strain. I should probably do that.
Yeah.
At some point.
3 successes. You're gonna hit them. That's gonna be 11 points of damage, right?
8.
It's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, as they're running
How do
away.
I take blast?
What's that?
You need to have advantages.
You have to have 2 advantages to activate blast. But yeah, as they're running away, you fire 2 again. You fire both your weapons, and one of them just puts a full load of these microplasma pellets into the back of one of these Trandoshans, and he hits the floor and doesn't move.
Do I need to have another advantage to shoot my second gun as well? Or is that success?
So it's 2 advantages to fire your second gun and 2 advantages to activate blast. If you activate blast, it activates blast on both weapons. If you also fire your second gun.
There's no way I can get blast right now. And actually be able to do both of those.
You just need to get more advantages and roll higher things. It's still really useful. So yeah, you fucking hit. Unless you have an ability that decreases your blast requirement. I don't know if you do.
At least not yet.
Okay. But you still put one of them down, so that's that. Next is going to be who? Who would like to go next?
I can go next.
Okay. What would you like to do, Helly?
I'm gonna continue. I'm going to go about and aim, and then DACA.
Okay.
So I'm gonna build my pool at short range. And then, I'm also, just for the sake, I'm going to add my extra difficult auto fire, because we like the DACA.
We like to DACA around here.
And I got a success.
That's one success. You get to hit him
With
twice.
the auto fire.
That's double damage there.
DACA.
So how much damage is he taking?
9.
And then a second hit because you actually managed to hit even with the disadvantage. So that's 9 more, right?
Let me take a quick look over how auto fire works again real quick. So I can trigger auto fire by spending 2 advantage. So I don't actually get to use auto fire.
Okay.
I don't have advantage spend.
So you have to not only take the extra disadvantage, but also spend the advantage. Okay.
Yes. Each time the attacker triggers auto fire, deals additional damage to the target, and each hit deals damage plus the number of uncancelled successes on the check.
Wow. Wow. That's rough. Well, you hit him. And you hit one of them, and he goes down. There's only 2 Trandoshans left as they are starting to run. This went from, haha, we got you, to, oh fuck, battle droids.
Roger.
Battle droids and an R3 with a wrench.
An R3 unit with a wrench.
Pistol.
Who would like to go next? We got Rebel or Reggie?
I'll go next.
I'd like to hit him. You can go.
Oh, yeah. You can go first. It's fine.
I just want to run at another thing and hit it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. One maneuver to move up to him, and then another to swing a wrench. Well, and then you swing your wrench, not another to swing the wrench. So, engaged. Wrench. Build pool. Swing.
What do I do?
Click on your character
So,
on the left.
I got it.
no success.
No success. That's unfortunate.
But no failures.
But no failures. So you swing, but you don't hit him. You get up close and you swing, and he kind of ducks out of the way as he dodges your swing.
It's like,
Okay.
oh shit.
And Rebel, it's your turn.
Okay, we are firing the blaster again.
Would you like to aim?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Get your 1 boost. And also a whiff.
Wow.
Oof.
Well, you fire and it barely misses the head of one of them and ricochets off of a plate in one of the steel plates of the wall.
Ding.
Just pew ting, and then impacts another wall. Yeah, that's rough, guys. Okay, they are just straight up. They are going to just run to a set of boxes that are now at medium range for you guys, and duck behind those boxes. So they are now using cover, which increases the difficulty to hit them by 1, and they're going to just pop up over and let's see what weapon I want to. Let's see if I'm going to have them try to use something other than what they're using right now. No, they're gonna use the ray shotgun again. Medium range. And roll those dice. 4 successes and a threat. So for the threat, they're going to run out of ammo. And for their successes, I mean, they're hitting one. They're going to hit one of you. I'm going to have them aim at the one with the wrench, because that's now the one coming after them. So, yeah, they're going to hit you with... Let me double check the damage on this again. I always have to double check the damage. 6 points of damage.
You soak a little bit of it.
Yeah, 6 points of damage. So you can spend that in strain or in wounds, and you soak 4 of it, I think.
Yeah.
So you only take 2 damage. Two points of wounds. That's not too bad. And that's their turn. So next, I guess, Dan, we're just going to keep going in the order until someone changes it up. Dan, what would you like to do? They are now at medium range.
I am at medium range. My guns are medium range. I'm going to shoot at the boxes. I'm not going to shoot at them. I'm going to shoot at the boxes.
So you're trying to disable their cover, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, you could do that.
And is it 1 strain per boost?
So you can boost up to twice, and you can suffer a strain for the second one.
So wait.
So you increase your strain by 1, and you get 2 boost dice, and that's all you can do. You cannot have more than 2 maneuvers.
Okay. I was like, because I
It's
knew
kind of
about
like
the aim
action,
maneuver.
bonus action. Yeah.
2 successes, 2 advantages. Do you want to activate Blast, or do you want to fire your second weapon?
I'm gonna activate Blast.
Okay, you activate Blast on these fuckers.
So anyway, we started blasting.
So anyway, he started blasting. So what level of Blast do you have? I guess the question...
I get +1 to explosives to blast. +1 damage.
So you get... Well, what's your blast... What's the blast setting on your weapons?
Oh, sorry, go. 6? Yes, 6.
So that's a total of 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you
And then
fire...
damage.
You fire your cannons, and it impacts the crates and detonates as you fire a much more powerful bunch of these little plasma projectiles, and it impacts the crates, sending them flying in different directions. And the blast of it injures takes out one of the Trandoshans. And the last guy is, at this point, the last Trandoshan is, like, kind of on the ground, like, doing that shuffling, pushing himself away from you without a weapon in his hand.
Oh, okay.
He's
mercy.
He's not dead, but he's definitely no longer in this fight. So, I'm going to say, next will be, Babe, what would you like to do?
So is he at medium range now, or is he still at short range?
He's at medium range now.
Alright, I'm gonna blast with my carbine. I am not going to activate auto fire, so I'm gonna save myself a purple dice.
Swapping to semi-auto.
And I'm going to aim for a boost.
Okay. Give us that check,
And
my dude.
Now watch this be the time where I get, like, the 17 advantage.
One advantage, 2 successes. Do you want to heal a strain with that advantage, sir?
I'm going to heal a strain.
Okay, you do hit him. How much damage are you gonna do?
I still don't know exactly how damage is calculated here.
It's your damage modifier. It's not calculated. It's literally just what your damage of the weapon is. It should tell you.
So, well, I have 11, then parenthesis 9, and parenthesis.
I don't know. Where's your weapon?
Okay, actually, I think I get it. It's your weapon has a base damage, and then you get damage plus how many unaccounted successes you have.
Okay, I see. So that is 11 points of damage.
Daka.
Yeah, you literally walk up. You aim and you put a blaster bolt into his stomach. Walk up and pull the trigger on his head. He's gone. This group of Trandoshans are done, and we are no longer in initiative order.
Raja.
Wait, how do I remove an adversary?
The 3 bars, can you remove them from there?
No. Maybe I have to go over here. Oh yeah, there we go. He's dead. They're all dead. As you walk up, they've got some really shabby equipment on them. But they probably have a ship. Somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
As you have blasted these Trandoshans, you hear behind you skittering as a group of sabotage droids kind of creep out of the shadows again and kind of like walk over to their bodies.
Are these sabotage droids or buzz droids?
Buzz droids, not sabotage droids. Sorry.
Okay, because those are very different reactions.
Yeah. No, the buzz droids
Sabotage-
crawl out from behind. Sorry, the buzz droids crawl out from behind you and kind of like look around, look down at the bodies, and then they just grab the bodies by the feet and start dragging them into the vents.
Yeah,
That's not terrifying at all.
sabotage droids walking up to that. That's a jump. Get
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, that's a run. But yeah, no, you guys have managed to kill the Trandoshans that were hiding in the vents and giving these buzz droids a hard time. So, there is still a couple buzz droids standing in front of you now, and they're like motioning for you to follow them.
I'm gonna follow the buzz droids.
You guys follow the buzz droids to the end of this corridor, which ends in a bank of turbolifts going up and down. These turbolifts are sealed round turbolifts. They're like elevators. They're tube shaped, and all of them are closed. Well, all but one of them are closed. The one that is not closed opens up to an elevator shaft that just goes straight down and straight up.
I'm assuming, having been on this ship, we know what direction that we would need to go vertically to get to, the armory and storage.
You guys are leaving the armory and storage. The armory and storage is behind you. The only way to get through that in them is to get into the command center and boot the ship up and get control over the doors. Right now, you're following the buzz droids who seem to be taking you to the observation deck of the vessel.
Okay, then let's attempt to pry open up one of these turbolift doors.
Okay. The turbolifts don't have any power, and it will be a brawn check, an athletics, to try and pry them open, or you could try to hack them, or try some sort of mechanical conjiggering.
I have a 3 in strength.
I do as well.
Okay.
B3, you want to do some splicing?
Yeah. I do want to do some splicing, yes.
I'm just checking my strength, and I'm like, wait, no, my strength's not that good.
Hey,
Everyone's terrible.
we'll give B3
No, I like slice.
their chance to redeem their splicing.
Okay.
I
You
want to slice, please.
you roll up to the door and engage with the slicing mechanism. That is going to be a computer's check. With it's going to be a 3 difficulty to reroute power to this terminal in this elevator.
No, Arthur, we need to be going down, not up, down.
There's no setbacks here, like this time, but
Arrow.
where is it? There it is.
Success and 3 threats.
Ooh. For the threats. Okay, so you managed to open the elevator door, and you route energy to the elevator. But as soon as the door opens on the elevator in front of you, the elevator inside shifts and then just drops straight down at full speed. And you open the other door, and you open the third door after that mistake and go, oh shit. And inside is the remains or a deactivated super tactical droid.
Interesting.
Just sitting in the elevator, trapped, and it is deactivated right now. Doesn't seem to have noticed you or anything.
I'm going to carefully pull the super tactical droid out of the... and just kind of prop it up against a wall.
Okay, you pull the super tactical droid out just in time for the elevator to start falling, and it cuts off his legs as it drops. But he's still alive, and he's still in one piece mostly. He's just now missing his legs as they are ripped off by the elevator as you barely get him out in time. As soon as his legs are removed, his eyes light up, and he just goes, oh! He just starts screaming in binary. Incoherent word jumbles in binary. It sounds like it hurt.
Just gonna slap the tactical droid.
You smack him, and he kind of stops screaming, and then just looks at you. And like you can almost see behind the numbers being run behind his faceplate as he looks at the group and says, "Ah, yes. If any of us were to remain active, it would be you four." You guys recognize this super tactical droid as your commanding officer, ST3V.
It's
It's Steve. As he kind of looks down at where his legs used to be and looks up at you folks, he says, "Well, this was unexpected."
Does not compute. Does not compute.
What happened here? What is the status report?
Status report is that we lost the battle. However, I became trapped in that elevator as the ship lost power. It would seem that the deactivation order managed spread through the entire rest of the crew, and thus deactivated the ship. Though I have heard skittering from time to time. I assume there are some buzz droids still alive?
Yeah, that's actually how we're gonna do it.
And some sabotage droids.
And a sabotage droid that we know of.
That's interesting. We do not have any sabotage droids positioned on this ship, other than the buzz droids.
Oh no.
It was a little boy. A little spider boy.
Spider boy, spider boy.
It was found in the hangar.
Do you still have access to your ship?
It's not
Yes.
good.
No.
Yeah.
Like it works.
Interesting.
We're here to
Hasn't been
scavenge
used
for
the-
parts.
Scavenge for parts. You will need to reactivate the ship in order to access all locations. If you take me to the command deck, I can reduce the lockdown and activate the reactors.
I'm gonna throw the tactical droid just over my shoulder and just
He
start
hangs on.
carrying him.
He is bigger. He is still about your size, even with his legs missing. Like, he is. The super tactical droids are large, quite large droids, averaging about 8 feet, 7 to 8 feet tall, depending on their model.
Yes, but I don't imagine the droid account or the R3s are going to fare much
Yeah,
better
definitely
than
not. So you wear him like a backpack as you guys head back towards.
Just dragging around. That was my idea.
That would work. Would you like to just tie him onto you as kind of a backpack? That way you don't have to use up your one arm.
Sure, I got the rope on me still.
Okay. You use the synth rope to tie a simple little harness that you now are wearing as a backpack. He is facing the opposite direction as you, but it's like 3PO and Chewbacca. You've got him on your back. As he kind of looks around at the ship and says, 26 cycles. It's amazing how much damage can be done in 26 cycles.
They saw happened recently?
We encountered resistance while trying to get into here. I'm gonna just point at the corpses. Actually, no, there are no more corpses because the buzz droids took them all away.
The buzz droids took him. The buzz droids got him. There is blood on the floor. As he looks down at as you kind of like walk past it, he looks at the blood and goes, yes. Interesting. Organics have invaded the ship. I assume you took care of them?
With
Excellent. We must complete our mission. And so as you guys are returning to the front of the ship, he starts to tell you something. 26 years ago, I noticed some very strange anomalies that I believe we will need to investigate if the CIS is to win this war. Though I believe the general deactivation order was issued. I'm not sure if we won or lost. Data incomplete. As you guys walk back towards the hangar, you have no more issues until you get to no more issues along this hallway as you get to the freight elevator, which at this point the freight elevator is nowhere to be seen.
Droids.
A buzz droid comes crawling out crawling out from behind you and looks down and just starts laughing. They're little as you guys kind of you just whack him and he rolls, he pulls himself into a ball and rolls away. If you look over the edge, you notice that the freight elevator dropped because it must have lost power or something, because it dropped 6 stories down, and now there's just a hole all the way down to the bottom of the keel of the ship.
That's a long way down.
That would be where the armor storage is, as well as the majority of our ground troops. However, for this mission, we were holding on to a great amount of salvage for observation.
Let's see if we can get this ship working first, and we can try to repair, and we can try to reactivate forces to at least get repairs going.
Yes, that would seem to be an excellent choice of... And at this point, he's, like, starting to glitch a little bit and, like, cutting off. And then he stops again and goes, "Ah, yes. That is a very deep hole."
And how tall, how high up is the next floor that we need to get to?
The hangar deck is about 30 feet below you.
And, well, what floor do we need to get to the command center? We have
The
to
hangar
find an
deck.
elevator.
Because there is not currently a connecting pathway between you and there. The ship does not have... The main hallway does not actually run all the way across the hangar. It's split by the hangar. And so you would have to go down an elevator. Normally there would be a gantry walkway this whole direction, but that has collapsed down into the hangar below. So the only path would be to find a way down to the hangar deck and then across and then back up.
And how far... Stupid question. How far of a gap is this?
It's just about the size of a football field.
Okay. I thought it was something ludicrous, but I had to make sure.
Yeah, the hangar deck is literally 2 football fields sat next to each other with the long ends between you and... Basically, you're at one end zone, and your target is on the other end zone.
So, now I need to find a way to get down.
As you say this, the super tactical droid says, "Perhaps we can use the secondary maintenance elevators. They would be back 30 feet and to your left."
I'm gonna try to find the maintenance elevator.
Okay.
Die,
You guys head back into the hallway. You go down until he points you in a direction, and you find that there's a door. It's sealed right now, but there's a maintenance access door there. And he says, "Beyond this is a bank of maintenance access elevators. One of them should be able to take us down to the hangar."
Is there any scoff links or any way for Rebel to open those doors?
Yep. There is a computer link there at the door.
Cool. I'd like to try to connect, please.
Okay, this is going to be a 2 difficulty, 2 setback for this roll. Because there is some weird shit going on this side of the ship right now.
Okay, so it's another
We got
computer
Trandoshan
section.
parts in the bits in the grills.
Yep. Buzz droids are doing whatever it is Buzz droids do to Trandoshans.
Okay, so you said computer check with 2 difficulty and 2 setback?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, 2 failures and 2 threats. So the first thing that happens is an alarm is triggered. The second thing that happens is a set of blast doors seal this section of the hallway down, and a ray shield is placed over the maintenance doors. You guys no longer have an access of escape from this. As for the threats, you're going to take 2 strain. Well, you're going to take 2 damage. You can take it as strain or as wounds. Your choice.
1 of each?
Okay. As the socket overloads itself and it's no longer accessible. This whole place is now locked down in here. As this happens, the super tactical says, "Oh dear, perhaps I should have done this. I have the access, though I cannot lift the lockdown from inside. We will have to hope that the buzz droids," and as he says it, a hole cuts itself in the maintenance access door on the other side of the ray shield and falls in, and a little buzz droid crawls up out of the hole and like looks at the ray shield for a second, says something in colloquy, which the super tactical responds to, yes, if you would be so kind, deactivate the lockdown for a moment. We have business to attend to. We can get this ship back online and get you plenty of targets to disassemble. The little buzz droid just looks at it, just nods and giggles, and then climbs back in. I'm going to make a check for the buzz droids to see if they can make it through.
Hey, someone here can understand those things.
At the very least, they just have to do enough damage.
They either need to do really good or do really bad.
One success and one despair. So, unfortunately, some of them do not survive. As you hear, you hear a bunch of grinding sounds. The sound of something. Reggie and Rebel, you know what the distinct sound of an arc flash is, where an extreme amount of energy pulses through something that's not meant to handle it and vaporizes it. You also are very familiar now with the sounds of screaming buzz droids, as there is a arc flash, a very loud pop from the other side of the door, and you see like 3 or 4 buzz droids in pieces slam against a wall on the other side of this door. And then the ray shield flickers and deactivates.
Nice.
So, they ended the lockdown.
For one time they're useful.
They've been useful for a minute.
They've been very useful.
They're buzz droids. This is kind of their element. Dilapidated ship, plenty of things to disassemble. Who's to say they haven't been working on this ship for the last 26 years?
Munch.
They're the reason this thing is in such bad shape.
He probably.
Alright, time to go through the hole that they made in the door.
So you kind of like climb through the hole in the door, and on the other side is a bank of like 6 or 7 elevators. Each one has a different designation over it. These seem to be pneumatic elevators, which have a specific target that they bridge between. It would be an incredibly fast, but also very dizzying way to traverse this, to traverse the ship, and also you would only be able to do to get a fit 4 people in this elevator. Now, with you carrying one of your people, you should be able to barely fit as a group. It's just very tight.
I'm gonna go hop into the one that will take us to the hangar.
Okay, you do find the one designated hangar.
Well, we gotta get to the hangar to then traverse over to the command center.
Okay, got it.
Unless there's an elevator listed for the command center.
There is not an elevator directly to the elevator or to the command center or to the hangar. However, there is one to the maintenance deck, which is directly below the hangar, and may have a lift upwards somewhere.
All right, to the maintenance deck.
Okay. You guys all pile in, and Helly, as you kind of like step in, the super tactical droid says, "If you would be so kind, just turn around so that I can." And thank you very much. And he reaches out, and his hand opens up, and he inserts one of his computer connection sockets, transfers the orders, and suddenly you drop, and it is fast. You drop 40 feet in a couple of seconds. It is insane. All of you bang against the wall, against the floor as you hit the bottom, and the doors just open with a bing. My apologies for the abrupt drop and stop. However, that is how these maintenance elevators seem to go. They're not really meant to be used for this many individuals.
Most they also don't have only this many individuals in a ship of this state.
Yes. As you guys step out of the out into the maintenance corridor and look left and right, Dan, you notice that there is some sort of large reservoir of explosive compound just at the edge of your perception.
Okay. I'm gonna ask, what's over in that direction? There's a lot of explosives over there.
The super tactical droid looks over and says, according to the schematics, that would be the fuel reservoirs.
Well, that's about what we're looking
Need that.
As you guys kind of step out into, you can follow this maintenance access to another relatively medium-sized hallway, but this one opens up as you step out into a massive section inside the ship with huge metal ribs surrounding a very large round object just to your left. This is the main engine base in ignition systems, and they are huge. Each one of the massive fuel injectors is the size of a starfighter. As this thing is silent, just sitting here, slumbering quietly. And you see a good 20 or 30 buzz droids right now are just like crawling up the walls and like occasionally like chewing on stuff.
I'm gonna turn around to the tactical battle droid. Can you wake this thing up?
I believe so. I may need some assistance. It would require a command key and 2 officers. However, he looks at both of you. He looks over at Rebel and Reggie. I could institute 2 officers. It would reinitiate the main engine reactors. However, to end the lockdown on the bridge, we would have to go to the bridge, unless you are more interested in simply waking up this vessel.
If we can wake up this vessel, we may be able to get repairs underway to at least make traversing this vessel more accommodating.
He kind of looks at you for a minute, and then his...
The word you were looking for was easier.
Yes, that's the word.
You watch as his eyes kind of dim a moment, and you hear some sort of short circuit in his mind, and then he kind of like he kind of reboots after a second. He goes, "Very well. Perhaps we could go to the hangar. Where am?" And then he kind of like looks around. Where am I?
This is the main maintenance hangar.
Main maintenance. Ah, yes, the maintenance deck of a Providence class cruiser. To reach the commands deck, you would head this direction, and he points in the opposite direction to the large engines. He's obviously short-circuiting.
Check out his brain.
Yeah, you could take
Check his hip.
I was just about to ask. Can you give him a little bit of a charge, maybe?
Yeah.
this would for if you're not going to pull apart his head and look at the mechanics of it, it would be a computer's check. You could run it. You could have Rebel run you could run a diagnostic with your diagnostic systems to find out what's going on with him, and then you may or may not be able to fix it. We'll see. So this would be a 2 difficulty. Yeah, a 2 points of difficulty mechanics check. Sorry, 3 points of difficulty mechanics check to see if you can figure out and possibly do some fixing to him.
You are better when it comes to mechanics and computers, Greg.
Okay. The two difficulties.
I mostly just
Yes.
break into places.
Fair enough. Okay. So two difficulty mechanics.
Yes. 4 successes, 1 threat, and 1 triumph. I'm gonna say that threat is going to cause you to suffer a strain, but with 4 successes and a triumph, you kind of like Heli kind of gets down on his knees and you approach this super tactical droid, and you just grab a hold of his head and just like pop open the top and back of his head for a second. He goes, "What are you? What are you?" And you just kind of like shush him as you continue to look at it, and you're like, "Yep. There you go. You're kind of bridging a couple things. One of your wires is in the wrong spot. You strip a couple wires, put them back in the right places, solder it in real good. It takes you about 20 minutes, but you manage to fix his memory memory circuit and his analysis circuit. And then you pop his head back on, his helmet back on, and he kind of like reboots, and then he says, 26 years. How unfortunate. Looks around and sees you and says, yes, we have all, of course you would be the ones who would survive. We need to activate this vessel, get power back on. The quickest way to do that from where I believe we are, as he looks around, would be that terminal over there, as he looks over the terminal on the wall. I will need 2 of you to act as officers to... You walk over to that terminal, he says, I'll need you to place me to where I can jack into this terminal. And he looks over at B3 and R3 and says, I will need 2 of you to go over to that terminal, 1 of you to that terminal, and 1 of you to that terminal. As he points out 2 other terminals.
I'm gonna kind of like put my guns underneath him as to carry him and carry him over to the other terminal.
You could actually set him in your kind of like in that space in your chest, and he's like, it'd be like a chair.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna fucking do that.
You have a kangaroo pouch.
That works.
What do I have to roll for that?
That you won't have to roll. He's not extremely heavy to where you have to worry about it right now. Not compared to how heavy you are and how much strength you have. I would say you'd be able to hold him, especially with him missing his legs. You bring him over to the panel, and he very quickly gets to work. He adjusts a series of dials, hits a couple switches, and flips on the diagnostics of the system. As he does so, he looks at the panel and says, "This isn't good. I'm going to need somebody to reset the main fuel pump." That would be over there. As he looks over at a location at a doorway, he says, "It will be through that door, and there should be a large red lever. You will need to pull that lever down, hold it for 3 seconds, and then release the lever. That should reset the fuel pump system."
I'll go.
All right. You go through the doorway, and just as he said, there is a large mass of tubes in this room, and all of them are feeding into what looks like a massive pump, as best you can tell. It has a control board with a red box next to it. As you walk up to it, the control board has a series of different buttons on it, and the display is currently reading a series of errors. It's just scrolling errors over and over again.
I'm gonna look for a big red lever.
Okay, you look at it for a second, and you realize the red box has a handle on it, and you just pull open the red box, and inside is a lever that says manual reset.
I'm going to pull that lever for 3 seconds and then
You pull the lever and release it, and the large fuel pump starts to shudder, and then the error readout changes to booting, as you hear a massive turbine start to turn in this fuel pump. Just... and it turns into this loud humming noise as you hear massive amounts of fluid. Yeah, you activate the mag boots. It's a little scary. As the floor starts to shudder a little bit, you can actually feel the whole thing boot up. Even in the main maintenance area, you can feel the engine starting to boot. The super tactical droid looks over at you, Reggie, and says, Keep an eye on those loadouts. We will be simultaneously increasing fuel usage in the 3 main injectors, and then I will be required to initiate the coolant. As you start to follow his directions, Reggie and Rebel, I need each of you to make either a computers or a mechanics check according to your skills. And I am going to make Steve.
I'm gonna do a mechanics check.
Can I get...
With the difficulty of what now?
Difficulty of 2. You guys are booting up. Actually, make this a difficulty of 3, because you guys are booting up a massive thing. And I'm going to make a leadership roll for him to see if he can get you guys going.
That's been 1 thread, I think. Because I
One
did
threat
my
and then
advantage.
2 failures. Not looking good there.
Oh dear.
What's the boy gonna be rolling? What do we got for Steve?
He's going to roll
Steven?
a... let's see.
What you rolling, Steven?
I'm trying to find his... This would be his...
Even?
I think I'm going to use his...
Steven.
Gosh, you keep resetting my brain. Let's see. Computers is 4. Mechanics is 4. I'll just use mechanics. 1, 2, 3 difficulties. I'm going to give him that, and then he's going to get a setback. I'm going to roll these dice. No successes from Steven. 2 failures from Reggie, and no successes and 2 threats from Rebel.
One threat because they only did it in 2 because you said two threats to start.
You said
Oh.
2.
Okay,
You
so...
said 2, and then...
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
I see. So 1 threat.
for Rebel.
That's still not bad. That's really rough. All 3 of you fail. As he is working on the computer, as he's working on the system, he accidentally initiates the fuel ignition too soon. As he does this, Reggie and Rebel, you guys manage to accidentally cycle the power on the coolant systems. This leads to, since there's 2 full failures here, this is going to upgrade the next set of checks because I'm only going to give 1. This basically increases the difficulty. It doesn't increase the difficulty. The difficulty is still going to be 3, but now you're going to add a red dice instead of, it's going to be 2 purples and a red dice in order to try and rectify this problem as the engines immediately begin to overheat. They ignite as the fuel ignites in the chamber without coolant. So this is going to be, you're going to make the same checks again. This time it's going to be a red and a purple. Red and 2 purples. And he is no longer... He quickly fixes the problem on his, and he's going to use a leadership role for this in order to try and keep you guys together. Try and mitigate any issues with the next. So I'm
Okay, so you said...
Same rules last time, but 2 purple, 1 red.
Yeah, so it's a mechanics or a... It's either a mechanics or a...
So I did the mechanics.
Or a computers. You could have used computers, by the way.
It's better for her to go with mechanics.
I have the bigger dice on mechanics, yeah.
Okay.
What do you got, Reggie?
Okay. That's an advantage. That's 3 threats. That's another threat. So that is 4 full threats. So I'm just going to take strain. Everybody take your strain or wounds as you need. Each of those threats is a strain or a wound here. As you guys try very hard, and he manages to keep you together and coordinate you just barely enough to get these engines running. get these engines to not overheat. There is still the problem of in order to not overheat the engines, he had to shut them down. He hit the emergency shut off, and the whole system comes grinding to a halt. Just quick enough to see the outer plating, the outer reactor shielding for the engines starting to turn cherry red. Yeah.
I'm gonna hop on comlink to Reggie and like, something going on over there?
Lots of things are going on!
He looks up. At this point, he's going to look at the ship and look it over and start to analyze. I'm going to give him an analysis. I'm going to let him analyze to see, because this will be a. Let's see if I can find it. Warfare check. One failure, one advantage. He cannot determine what is wrong with the ship. As he looks at it, he cannot. He knows that he's not going to be able to fix it at this point because something is wrong. And what he does also, one of the things he notices is that the coolant system, even though it's now initiated in the shutdown cycle, it's still not cooling down the ship's reactor. The reactor is just now air cooling, and it is getting very hot in here.
That's a no bueno.
Something is wrong with the coolant system, and I do not have the information to properly solve this. I suppose that returns us to our original plan. We did have an original plan, yes?
Getting fuel for the ship?
Fueling a small vessel. Well, in order to fuel the vessel, we'll have to bring it into the maintenance area, onto the maintenance floor, which means we'll have to land it on one of the lifts and actually use the lift, which means we'll have to restore power to the rest of the system. Which means I'll need you to take me to the command deck. That is the only place that we'll be able to handle this from at this point. Unless, of course, you would like to attempt to start the main reactor.
Hey, Rad, you think you could start the main reactor? You are a girl.
Yeah, I'll try to get the reactor where just afraid it might explode.
Reggie, I will say you know kind of the gist of how to start a reactor on a ship this big. You know that it'll take 3 to 4 people to do.
Oh.
It's a similar check to what we did here. And by the way, the only reason why it didn't explode is because you didn't get enough failures and you didn't get any despairs. So it will be the same. It will be a level 3 difficulty, and it will be a check of this. So if you guys want to try that again, you can. But that's up to you.
And I mean, we need to get our ship refueled and get that leak patched, and preferably install a hyperdrive. So
perhaps we will find a working ship.
And the hangar is rubble.
Yes. That would make sense. We did take an enormous amount of damage along that area. I'm surprised we haven't lost atmosphere.
And buzz droids may be part of that one.
Not losing atmosphere or are losing atmosphere. I'm pretty sure those little fuckers absolutely sabotaged us. As he looks around and notes a couple places where they were cutting into the metal and stuff.
They could also be trying... Buzz droids could also be trying to salvage this place as a home.
That is possible.
In.
I'm not sure how their salvage and sabotage programming would have evolved over 26 years. They could be very strange at this point, even for buzz droids.
We have either at this point tried to find the elevator that will take us up to the command center, or go down to the main reactor and attempt to start it there.
You will still have to cross across the maintenance deck underneath the hangar bay anyways, so I'm going to have you guys start walking through there as you guys make up your minds.
While crossing through the hangar bay, I'm going to keep an eye out for any lifts that look like they're not completely and utterly trashed.
Okay. You guys are in a space that is just tall enough to have a landing craft parked in. As you look around, you notice that there are large durasteel pillars every so many feet, and above you is an intricate network of the base plate for the main landing deck. There are several maintenance stations at every so many feet is a maintenance station or a mobile or some sort of mobile toolkit or a series of fuel pumps. There are about 20 or so MTTs parked in maintenance bays that are currently in different states of being pulled apart and put back together. You notice that there is another Sheathipede shuttle under here that is currently missing its dorsal fin, the top of this vessel where the main hyperdrive would be located and sensor arrays. As you look around, you notice that that hyperdrive has already actually been pulled from the ship and is sitting on a workbench somewhere and is currently and was in the process of being either worked on or cleaned up or maintained in some way. You also notice that one of the Sheathipede shuttle's engines has been completely ripped out and torn and pulled apart into and organized in order to repair some sort of damage, and it is currently missing its canopy, the cockpit canopy.
We may be able to salvage parts of these shuttles to repair ours.
Yeah, there are also several other sets of extra parts around. There is a single what looks like to be a full-sized fuel cell for the Sheathipede shuttle that was going to be installed before the shutdown order was taken, and you see that there are about 20 to 30 pit droids in this area, all collapsed down, all just in storage and quiet mode.
I'm gonna go pick up one of the pit droids and try to activate it.
You pick up the pit droid and just tap it on the nose?
That's what I do.
Okay, you tap the pit droid on the nose and it bounces out of your hand and comes awake. And kind of like, it stands up and like looks at you and says, "Hey, what the fuck? I was sleeping. Wait, you're not asleep, and I'm not asleep. That means the shutdown order's over. That means we can wake up, fellas!" And he yells out like in binary, "Fellas!" And all of the other pit droids bounce up as soon as he says it, and starts walking out. It's like, and they just start jabbering and start moving around and continue their maintenance work. They don't even stop what they were. They just go right back to what they were doing before.
God, I woke up the foreman pit droid.
Yep, you woke up the foreman pit droid. He does have a red stripe down the top of his head, and has 2 red stripes on his right shoulder. As he kind of looks up, he kind of looks over at Rolly and goes, "Hey, it's Boss!" and walks right up to this super tactical droid and says, "Hey, Boss, how's it going? Why were we shut down? Do you think we can keep meeting our quotas? Also, it's been 26 years. Do our quotas get reset, and do we get paid time off?" At which point, the super tactical droid says, "You know damn well we do not pay you. Also, I am not sure if we have any quotas to meet currently. I will have to reevaluate and renegotiate those terms. Additionally, we need you to get either this Sheathipede shuttle online or the entire vessel as quickly as possible." The pit droid kind of looks at me like...
Hey, we're not getting paid for this?
The pit droid says,
I mean, we get paid in oil baths. This guy's the only guy who maintains droids this far south. I mean, this far north. Are we north, south? I don't remember. I'm not very good at astrogation. That's for astromechs like yourself. But we could get this ship up and running. Do you need the reactors on? What do you need? What do you got?
Reactors, elevators.
Well, we could do a full diagnostic as a team, figure this out, and depending on the damage, we might be able to see. Last I heard, though, we were in the middle of a battle. That's why we were fixing up old Bessie here, as he points to a very strange-looking shuttlecraft. It's not like a full shuttlecraft. It's more of a it's more like a modified shuttlecraft that's been turned into some kind of gunboat. It's got a whole bunch of weapon systems built up on it, but it is currently in three major pieces, with two large engine nacelles on the ground on either side of it, and it looks to be a smaller crew vessel than what you guys are used to.
Well, looks like the war hasn't been here for 26 years.
Well, I mean, I would assume, otherwise they would have blown us the fuck up, right? But yeah, we can, we'll look over stuff. Hey, Jerry! Fucking G3RY, get your ass over here. That's, yeah, you, as he points to one of the other pit droids who's like, me? He just, like, walks over, he says, Jerry, I need you to get, about 7 other guys together. We're gonna restart the main reactor. Make sure the coolant's running. I know we were having a leak earlier, holy shit, it's been 26 years. Make sure we have coolant before we turn it on. Hey, you guys didn't try to turn anything on, did you?
No.
The super tactical droid simply says, we did what we must and you will ask no more questions. All right, I see. I know how it gets. I know how managers get when you push them. I'm not going to push much further, okay? We'll give it a once-over. Give us a few hours. We could figure it out. But if you need to get some of the lifts up and running, I think I got a secondary generator around here we could hook up to the hangar bay power grid.
I kind of hate how well you can do this voice.
I mean, I've worked with a lot of fellas, you know. I've worked with a union for a while, you know. It's really great. Droid unions are fantastic. You should try it sometime. Damn.
We can get that generator up and going, and G1, you want to take a look at that hyperdrive on that bench? If that's something we can salvage for ours.
Another droid looks up and says, 6 other droids look up and say, and just like point to themselves like me. He's like, no, not you, John, not your Jen. I need Tommy and Frank. Yeah, I know it's not your designation numbers. Get your ass over here, Tommy, Frank. You're gonna work on this hyperdrive. Make sure it's up to snuff. Who was the team that was working on it initially? And one of the pit droids points to what looks like a structural beam that has dropped on about 3 pit droids, smashed them flat.
Oh. While he's going about that, I'm gonna just point at Reggie.
Why did I fit in with these droids?
I mean, they are your people. Reggie, if you want, you can head up this entire thing, and basically you're going to be working with the pit droids for a little bit to get this all up and running. If you guys want, we can start working on repairs to you guys and see if we can't fix it, because now the pit droids are the maintenance crew of this ship, and there's a lot of them. And as they wake up each other, they're going to spread, and they should start to get this ship back up and running.
I'm gonna take some time to look around the discarded B2s and let's see if I can find one with a good left.
Yeah. By the way, the pit droid you're talking to, he has a designator on his left chest on the other side of the stripes, and it says 4M-4M-4N. He's the foreman.
Oh, good. So we have Steve and the foreman.
Yeah. There's Steve and the foreman.
Can I point out that he is a red foreman?
Yeah.
Does he have a really big forehead?
I mean, he's a pit droid. His entire head is forehead. Yeah, he's the head foreman of this area. I'm going to say it takes the pit droids quite a long time to do this. So while they're doing so, it's going to be some downtime. Also, that's going to be the end of this session because you guys actually technically accomplished your goal. The goal for this session was to get to where you can refuel and repair your ship properly, and you're at that point. So I'm going to have say this is the end of the session. I'm going to remember how much XP I need to give you.
I'm glad I decided to activate the pit droid.
Yeah, you guys could have walked through there without activating the right pit. If you had activated the wrong pit droid, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But if you hadn't activated any of them and just assumed that they were dead, they would have eventually been woken up, but it would have slowed you down a lot. So I'm going to give you all did really good, so I'm going to give you about 20 experience apiece. So you can spend that experience however you want in between sessions, but there's 20 experience for you. You can increase skills, you can increase all sorts of stuff without it. The only exception is you can't increase any of your base traits. That will be something that will be available later on, but not right now.
I might throw a point into some ranged weapon.
Go for it.
Some ranged heavy. Give myself some yellow dice for my blaster.
Go for it. But yeah, that's going to be the session today. You guys managed to navigate around a dead dreadnought and make some friends, meet the locals. There are more enemies on this ship, and so there's going to be more for you to do next session. But that's more of a putting out fires type session, so should be fun.
More things to bonk.
Oh man, more things to bonk, more things to try and fix. You guys almost blew the ship apart. I'm not gonna lie, if everyone had failed that last check, it would have been a reset. It would have been okay. You blow up the engine systems. Congratulations, you vaporized half the ship. So, okay, that'll be all for today. I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Next time I'll probably, possibly not have more assets. We'll see.
So long, farewell, adios, and goodbye.